And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream here on the Film Stock channel. It is not Wednesday. I know a lot of you guys are probably like, why is he not streaming on Wednesday? It is Sunday, January 4th, 3 p.m. Eastern. I rarely do streams during the day, but even rarer, I guess I should say, is to do a weekend stream. Usually I just go live on like a weeknight. But we're here, we're live, and we're talking Stranger Things Season 5 finale spoilers, all right? I did a spoiler talk for Season 5, Volume 1. I did not do one for Volume 2 because that was just a very hectic period of time, but I wanted to sort of marinate on the finale for a few days, then hop on here and do one final Stranger Things Season 5 spoiler live stream where we can, talk about our thoughts on the ending. What's next for these characters in the world? What is the world of Stranger Things with spin-offs going to look like? It's going to be fun to chat about, but I've actually got a Diet Dr. Pepper on hand. Well, I just got some of it in my eye. You already know. Had to do it. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see you here. Hope you've had a good new year. It's 2026 already. I'm doing the thing I do at the beginning of every new year where I'm like, wait a second. 2024 was technically 2 years ago now. So I'm referring to this year still as 2025. It's a weird thing, but yeah, it's crazy that 2024 was so long ago. And time flies the older you get. Which they kind of hit on in Stranger Things, and it's beautiful. But welcome in. Hit that like button if you guys are in here right now, if you're watching live or on the replay. And, of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And there are a lot of people, 300 people in here in the chat already, so thank you guys, everyone, for being here. I will get to as many questions as I can, but the only way to guarantee I can get to your question, comment, concern is Super Chat. But welcome. Let's do this thing. Let's dive right in, as they say. I'm sorry. I read this thing. It says conformity gate theory. I had no clue what this was. I've been off Twitter, scrolling on Twitter the past few days just because I don't want to. I just don't want to. Like going into this year, I'm kind of like drastically reducing the amount I'm personally spending, like consuming social media. Like I'm obviously always going to post on social media, but consuming things, especially Twitter or like TikTok For You pages, there's just a lot of stuff out there. And it's not just Stranger Things. It's every single movie or show that comes out where I'm like, I don't need to consume this toxicity in general. And so I'm really trying to cut back on that. So I was like, what is this? Cam had to explain to me. I still don't even know what this is. All right. No one talk about Susie and Dustin. Yeah. By the way, spoiler warning for the finale of Stranger Things. I'm assuming if you clicked on this, you have seen it. I'm looking at the title right here over my head. You guys can't see it, but spoiler talk for the finale. So if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? You got to watch it right now. It's incredible. But yeah, we did not see Susie and Dustin. Kind of bummed about that. That was one of my things coming into the season. I was like, man, I want to see these two characters in person together because we'd only ever seen them interact via like radio waves, essentially. Like we'd never seen them in the same room together, and we didn't get that. But hey, it is what it is. We have a super chat here. Actually, I didn't even realize. Thank you for sending that. It's from Nicola. It says, thank you for everything you've done for the Stranger Things fandom over the years. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. I mean, I started talking about Stranger Things. The first Stranger Things videos I have are actually from 2019. It's my season 3 review. I was a wee lad. I was very young. It's one of my first videos on the channel. And I had no clue what I was doing. It's with my buddy, a good friend of mine who I still keep up with to this day. But that was posted literally in July of 2019 on the channel. It's like one of my first 5 or 6 videos, I'd say. And then I covered like the season 4 build up to the trailer. But I really like the season 4 era onward is when it really became a significant part of the channel. And it was certainly an all-time journey. And I'm not done talking about the show at all. I know people are like, sorry, there's something in my throat. Let me get a good cough out real quick. All right. I think that handled it. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I will continue to talk about Stranger Things forever. I mean, I have endless ideas for final rankings. I was literally jotting some down today. And these are all videos I'm going to do just in short form. So I'll post them on TikTok, Instagram, and shorts here on YouTube. Videos I'd always been asked. People are like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? So let me just rattle some off for you. Okay. Stranger Things season finales ranked. Stranger Things season premieres ranked. The best episode from every season of Stranger Things. This is a series I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do it all in one video, or if I'm going to do 3 videos per like character grouping. But the best season. How did I word it? I worded it perfectly. Hold on. I got to go to my notes. I have it in my notes right here. I was literally writing it down before I went live because I have a ton of ideas. It's just I got to film them, edit them, all that stuff. Where the hell is it? Hold on. There it is. Okay. So best Stranger Things episode from every season. Stranger Things cold opens to start every season ranked. finales and premieres ranked. Best moment from every episode could be fun. I did that building up to season, I think right after season 4 ended. Now I could do it for every episode. Stranger Things trailers ranked, but this is the one that I'm really going to look forward to. The best season for every Stranger Things character. So I have like the kids, the older teens / kids, and then the adults. And I have them all written down on the other side of this phone right now. A lot of every season is represented. I'll say that every season is represented for every character. And that's all I'm gonna say. But that's gonna be a fun one to do. But no, thank you guys for your support. Over the years, it's been an incredible journey, and I have so much planned this year. Like in this world, like Tales from 85, all the spinoff stuff, more Stranger Things 5, like final videos. But I'm also we're getting Brand New Day, Doomsday, The Odyssey. We're getting OBX5. We're getting The Boys season 5. We're getting there will be something that comes out that like no one's even thinking of right now that will end up being some sort of phenom that we'll all be discussing. So it's the beauty of a new year. All right. Where was I? A lot of people are disappointed about Susie in the chat, and that's valid. I don't view the Mind Flayer fight as rushed. I know that is a common complaint people have. I really didn't view it as such. I felt like at this point in time, they knew exactly what they needed to do to defeat it. And how long of the battle, like if the battle was 5 minutes longer, would people have viewed it differently? I don't know. I think there were people who were going to be disappointed with the defeat of that entity, no matter how it went down. So yeah. What's up?
I just wanted to brag about the fact that I was right that Eddie didn't come back.
That is correct. You don't have to dye your hair pink. Is that what it was? Pink? Or did we say you could pick the color?
We didn't specify color.
Yeah. I remember. So I didn't have anything that I had to do, but it was a very one-sided bet. But for those who were in here on that stream.
That's how confident I was.
Yeah, she was very confident. She was correct. I was like, no, Eddie's going to be in a vision or flashback. I was wrong about that. So kudos to Cam for sticking to her guns on that one. All right. Let's see. Shout out Jay Hayes for modding the chat here. And absolutely, I second this. Shout out Leanna. Thank you for being in here. I am still unwell. I honestly was very emotional the night after, like as you guys saw, I was watching it. It was very emotional, but the morning after I was, or was it the 2nd? I don't remember when it was. I think it was technically January 2nd. I had my headphones in and I was listening to the soundtrack from the season. And when Heroes, like I ended up just putting Heroes on a loop. And I was reading through a bunch of the comments on the final reaction video and responding to as many as I could, which I was feeling the love in that comment section. There were so many. I tried to respond as many as I could. But I got emotional again. I kind of broke down just thinking about the fact that it's over. So it's definitely hit me more than any other movie or show. I'm not even ashamed of that. I love this show with my whole heart. And I'm pretty confident saying I don't think there will ever be another show like this for me or movie. Like I like for the longest time, I was like, oh, it's Endgame. Yeah. Avengers Endgame, like Infinity War Endgame. That was my thing that like won't be topped in terms of like an epic moment in time. Like a cultural event type show or movie or something that resonates with me. Cause I still love the MCU, but that build up, because I was like, oh, it was from the time I was 8 years old to 19, technically. Crazy. 11 years in the making, but this topped that for me by far. And now, and the thing about that too, in retrospect, I guess hindsight bias would be the correct term. The thing about that, look what they've done since then, you know? This is proof that I don't want them to ever bring back the original characters in Stranger Things. No matter how tempting it is, 20 years from now, don't even do it. We've seen too many perfect endings become tainted after the fact. We do not need that. So I think they need to just let it end. All right, let's do a speed round, by the way. I love a good speed round. Super Chat's way to go to guarantee I get your question, comment, concern. Happy 2026, everyone. I agree. Hit that like button. Helps out a lot. I love Lumax, but biggest complaint this season, I have a lot, is them downplaying some of L Max's key bonds with others. So you wanted more 11 and Max friendship moments. Okay, fair. I thought we got some good stuff with them in the final ep, though, in the Void, especially when they're going through the memories. There's kind of this, we trust that they're friends. We've seen it enough throughout the show. I liked seeing them together as they're like guiding the kids, trying to get them away from the Creel house. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Good to see you all here. Hello there. Brady Bear, what's good? Welcome, everybody. This Diet Dr. Pepper is hitting, by the way. Who's LeBron James in Stranger Things? You asked me who the GOAT character is? I mean, I don't know. It depends on where I'm approaching that from. I've never been asked something like this. Because I have like my favorite characters. You guys know who those are, but I'm thinking like in terms of, I mean, you'd probably have to say 11, right? In terms of powers. That would be my answer. Why diet? 0 calories, 0 sugar, as always. That's what it says on the can. All right. Welcome in. Mike and L Endgame to the end. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tragedy in the end. Do I think L is alive? It's been asked a lot. I do. And the reason I do is because I've had a lot of time to sit with that scene. And I think that the way it all goes down, I mean, I go back and forth. I still am internally battling. I think it really does come down to, it's up to you. Do you believe or not? Because there is a logical route where it works both ways, in my opinion. And so the real tragedy of it all is that even if she is alive, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't matter to the party, because they will never be able to see her again, regardless of if she's dead or alive, because she can't come back. Because like she said, there'll always be someone coming after me. She went out on her own terms and was able to shut down any potential experimentation and recreation of like a Brenner project with more kids in a lab. So, she put an end to that and went out on her own terms, but she's at peace now. So it's tragic. I really don't know. In my heart of hearts, I want to believe she's alive. So I think that's, to me, I think I view that as the perfect ending in my brain. But, even if she is dead, I still think the belief of her being alive is enough for the characters and for me. And so I'm content. I think that's how it's a beautiful ending. When you have this discourse and it's not definitive. I like that they didn't make it clear. It's up to you to decide. That's the beauty of it, in my opinion. Hey, Chris, my Malevolent heart has been heavy, but I believe she's alive and I'm holding hope for a spinoff where they're together for real. Yeah. I mean, look, I feel you. I love Malevolent too. If we're ranking ships, they're probably top 3 for me. I would go Jopper and Lumax at like the 1 and 2 spots, kind of switching. And they'd probably be 3. So yeah, I mean, I feel you. It's tragic what happened there. I hate to shut down, but I just don't think we're ever going to see an actual reunion. But that adds to the beauty of it. It's bittersweet. That's kind of how I describe it, right? Like they'll never see each other again, but they will always have the memories and the stories. It's dwelled on me over the past few days. I just think it's such a profound ending. I love it. I adore what they did there. And even taking it one step further, them all walking up the stairs, I mean, it couldn't have been better. Like I made a final predictions video, which was eerily accurate after the fact. And there were people who were like, you made this after you watched it. I swear to God, I didn't know a single thing. But the D&D scene at the end was cinematic. It was everything I wanted. That's exactly how I had pretty much envisioned how I wanted the ending to go. And it seems like that was the Duffers' plan all along. But yeah, I believe too. I really do. Super chats are coming in. Thank you guys for those. Someone here says, liked the season, but there was so many plot holes and unanswered questions. Why did Henry need 12 kids to move worlds? Excuse me. Sorry about that. This Dr. Pepper's hitting. Who is Dr. K and what happened at the Max Z after L died? Where is Owens, etc.? Yeah, so I don't view anything that you just listed as a plot hole. I know that word's been thrown around a lot. Maybe unanswered questions, sure. But nothing that I would consider a plot hole. Dr. K is just someone who is obsessed with basically continuing these experiments. She is the embodiment to me of evil government entities that, are power hungry and want to weaponize anything they can. Very Weyland Yutani from Alien. So that never bothered me, the fact that we didn't get a full elaborate backstory on her. She's just evil for evil's sake. And that is, unfortunately, the state of every government entity, like out there in fiction or in the real world. Like We don't know these people. That kind of adds to the freaky nature of it if you think about it, right? Like we don't know who's big brother, but they're always watching and they're always trying to plot. So that didn't bother me at all. And I don't really care what happened to the Maxi after Elle died, because you know what? I've seen that too. I talked about this with Cam. The entire reason the military are in Hawkins is because, you know, these rifts are there. There's activity, but they also are trying to find Elle. Well, you killed two birds with one stone. There is now no longer a connection into the Upside Down, which was, of course, was the bridge to the Abyss. That is gone fully. Wipe our hands with that. 11 is dead in their eyes. Whether you believe she's dead or alive, she's dead. There is no reason for them to be there anymore. They packed up shop and left. So I don't know why they'd stick around. So that one I think is answered. And then why did Henry need 12 kids to move worlds? It's just the number they chose. I mean, I don't know. There are certain things like again, and you're allowed to have the thoughts you want, but I don't think that any of these things are detrimental to the experience of the show or even issues, frankly, in my opinion. It's the minutia of it all that I think people are getting caught up in strangely. I don't understand it, but it doesn't bother me. What are your thoughts on the epilogue roof scene? Whew, I mean, maybe the most authentic, realistic scene in the show, right? I don't know where you all are, if you're in here, how old you are, or where you're at in life. But I'm 26 years old, and I have, you know, we've all had friends in our life or been at a place in life where you have a friend group or people you hang out with consistently. This could be a high school friend group. This could be a childhood friend group. This could be friends at a job you're working, and you move on and you're like, oh, we got to stick together. Like we're always going to get together, right? Like we can make time for a monthly hangout or hang out a couple times a year. The idea on paper sounds doable. It sounds like everyone's going to buy in. But the reality of the situation is people drift. Time gets in the way and people get busy. And so, you know, realistically, will they meet up every month? Probably not. But I'd like to believe they'll make the effort. But that's just, ain't that the truth? That whole scene where it's like that they want to carve out this time to get back together. But the reason they're all feeling that way is because they're back in this hometown. They're, you know, old emotions are being stirred up inside them. There is some nostalgia there. And they're like, man, I miss these hangouts. I miss our time together. But again, the reality of the situation is they're going to get older. They're going to get busier. A lot of them might go start their own families and they're not going to be able to see each other as much. So it really hit. It was, yeah, it hit. It really did. That's one of the most beautiful scenes in the finale. So especially on rewatch, it's like, man, this is very reminiscent of the middle of the field scene from Dazed and Confused, one of my favorite coming of age movies, where, you know, McConaughey is like, the older you get, the more rules they're going to try to get you to follow. Yeah, it's just like one of those coming of age scenes that's so perfectly handled. And so I loved that roof scene in the epilogue. I'm in a coming of age genre mood right now. I rewatched Stand By Me last night because I was like, I need to fill the void of the coming of age genre. And I rewatched it and I log it on my Letterboxd. You can follow me over there if you're interested. But that movie is amazing. I mean, I'd only seen it once and I was familiar with it, obviously, because I'd seen the movie, but it had been 6 years almost since I'd watched it. So I watched it again. I was like, man, this one hits the older you get. And there are clearly Stand By Me references in Stranger Things. Obviously, Mike's ending, but also the line "suck my fat one." I forgot it's said in Stand By Me. So obviously, that's not something that either of those projects created, but I was just like, the Duffers definitely were inspired by this, and it is a Stephen King story. So pretty cool stuff. Next super chat here from Ethan. It says, love watching your old Stranger Things videos, hearing theories about it. I don't think I can watch Tales of 85 knowing what happened to 11. LOL. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's going to be emotional watching Tales from 85 because it is like, this is what once was. And also it's going to be a little strange because obviously the original voice actors, like the original actors won't be doing the voices. So it won't feel, to me, there's no way it'll capture the same feeling of watching Stranger Things, but to be back in the world with original stories, especially maybe if Cal Dixon and Michael Stein do the music, at least there's hope there. And so I'm hopeful that it'll be entertaining. And I'm interested to see how they fit it within the canon and how canon it actually is. I don't know when it'll come out. My guess, I know they said this year, would it be summertime or would it be more of a fall show? I feel like it's not coming out. The earliest I feel like it's coming out is July, maybe July 15th for the 10-year anniversary of Stranger Things premiering on Netflix. But yeah, I'll be checking it out. Another super chat here says, I want to get a Stranger Things inspired tattoo. Any suggestions? Ooh. My buddy, I think he's in here, Jacob Starcourt. He's getting one. I should ask him. I don't know. I would say I don't have any tattoos. Obviously, I don't have any experience in this field. But if you want the logo, you can't go wrong with that. If you want a quote, that's a tough one. Honestly, I would look at who your favorite character is, who your favorite quote, and the logo as 3 options. That's kind of what I would say. I mean, the Demogorgon is maybe the most iconic like image, like right here, the headed Demogorgon. That would make a cool tattoo. By the way, all this art back here with the white background is done by Adam's Art Box. I always like to shout him out. He's got some season 5 art dropping soon, and I will be getting it. I will be showcasing it, but he's the man. I love him. He goes to all conventions like MegaCon he'll be at, which by the way, I'm considering going to MegaCon this year. I have not been since 2024. I had fun. I've been twice. I think twice. Yeah, 23 and 24. Considering going again. Yeah, I don't know if I would do any panels. I don't know if you guys were around for that, but I did a panel back in 2024 about Stranger Things. It was we did a wheel of theories essentially, and it was about a year, almost 2 years ago now. Jeez, February or March of 2024. So wow, time has flown. But my suggestion would be the logo probably. I just think, or like there's a logo with flames on it. That one is sick too. That one's actually dope. I have it on a hat. I think I just said that. All right, Colin with the Super Chat says, the fact that people are rating the last season lower than the Lost Sister episode from season 2 is crazy and delusional. Yeah, I can't take... I mean, everyone has their opinions and what have you. I can't, like, if someone looked me in the eyes and said, Chris, I think that The Bridge is worse than is the worst episode of the show, I would say I hard disagree. I mean, The Lost Sisters is, to me, the consensus worst. Now, I know Kali came back in season 5. They did some stuff with her, but that episode is still irredeemable. The entire, Kali's friend group, everything, it's so out of left field. It is the least Stranger Things-y episode of the entire show, and forever will be the lowest rated in my brain. Like, spoiler alert, I'm ranking the episodes next week, like this upcoming week, I should say, and all 42 of them, and that is in last. It goes without saying. So that is in last. Everything else, it's really grueling and difficult for me to decide, but that is like, all right, I got my last place. Let's go from there. So yeah, I agree with this take. I can't fathom it really. I can't. Thoughts on the plot holes in the finale? Which ones? I mean, I don't really view there as many. If you want really the one issue I take, and I addressed this in my breakdown, the one like plot hole, if you will, would probably involve Will. And it involves a moment where he taps into the hive mind to control Vecna, ultimately allowing Eleven to deliver like the final blow. If he's tapped into the hive mind, why isn't he experiencing pain? However, I view it as there's 2 possible options to make this make sense. Number one, he's only in there for about 10, 15 seconds. He's pushing through because he knows what's at stake. And secondly, he is freed from... He still has the connection in a sense because God knows why, really. He has that connection because of either when he was initially hooked up, he's in the closest proximity he's ever been, one of those two. And then because of that, he's not as tormented by Vecna, by the Mind Flayer, because of the coming out scene where he was like, I have to get this off my chest. I have to be fully vulnerable, if that makes sense. Oh, I just got a text from Funko. Sorry, my phone lit up. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. That's the one thing where I'm like, that might irk me. But it's so, again, minute. I'm not hung up on the little things. Like, Avengers Endgame, to me, is a movie I adore. I give it 5 out of 5. It's a movie you can nitpick nitty-gritty details about. All the live long day. Is that the old saying? Like, but what is, I don't gain anything from that. Yes, I addressed that the film is flawed. Endgame, it's flawed at times, but they also explain the rules of time travel within the show or within the movie, excuse me. And so I'm able to get on board and yeah, okay, this makes sense. Also, none of this is real, by the way. This is all fiction. Okay, cool. And so I kind of have to realize this is a movie, and I'm in that world. And nothing I ever watch in a fictional show is 100% real, accurate, historically accurate. If we're talking something like a costume design in the Odyssey or whatever the hell you want to get into. And so, yeah, it's never things like that. If I'm impacted on an emotional level, with character journeys, with the story of a movie or a show, like I'm pretty much set there. I think that a lot of the issues online, especially because I don't talk to people in the real world who get into the nitty gritty of plot holes or lore. I guess I should say that's more online stuff. I doubt I would have an interaction with a friend who watched this season and they would be complaining to me about, well, what about this little lore detail? I'm like, that's just for the hardcores like us. You know what I mean? Anyway, what's your favorite episode in the show, and rank all the finales from worst to best? So, sorry for the train outside, by the way, it happens. Favorite episode in the show, I can't definitively say just yet. That's a loud one. Sometimes they're louder than others, the trains. My favorite episode in the show, it's hard to say. There's a handful in the conversation, and these are like, I won't say definitively because I am going to do a ranking, but it goes without saying, Dear Billy's in the conversation, Massacre at Hawkins Labs in the conversation, Battle of Starcourt's in the conversation, Right Side Up's in the conversation. So those are kind of floating around as potential favorite episodes in the show. Rank all the finales. I'm going to do that in a short video as well. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll give you insider info. How about that for the stream, exclusively for the stream? My favorite finale kind of gives away something, and I think it's my favorite finale is the series finale. I'll say it, and that should be an indicator of my episode ranking because you guys know how I felt about other finales if you've been following along. So stay tuned for the episode ranking. Thank you for the super chat. Super chat here says, what's your least favorite episode of each season? It's a good question. Season 2, The Lost Sister, easy. Then it gets hard. I would say for season 5, my least favorite probably is The Bridge, but I'll say it's because of all the episodes in that season. It's probably either episode 2 or episode 7. One of those two, but I really enjoyed episode 7, but it is the setup, and that's okay because the finale delivered it. You know what I mean? Like episode 7 is all we have to get this scene. We have to like check the boxes to get to the finale, but they couldn't have saved some of those moments for the finale. Like this show had been building to Will coming out since like season 1, pretty much, in my opinion. They had to have that scene before the finale. Check that off the box. Steve and Dustin's emotional reunion. Like you had to have all these moments. You had to lay out the plan. Like say what you will, that you had to have that scene where they lay out all the details of this final plan because of how intricate it is, because of how much had to go off without a hitch. And so I wasn't bothered by any of that stuff. So I'd probably say my least favorite episode of season 5 is either 2 or 7. It comes to mind immediately, at least. Season 1, I don't know. I really don't know. They have season 1 doesn't really miss. Season 4, probably episode 3, episode 2 or 3. And the same can be said for, I believe, season 3 as well, like episode 2 or 3, probably. Like those seasons really pick up after the midway point, right? So it's hard to definitively say, but there's the gist of it, I guess, right? Do you believe the conformity gate theory explained? I don't know what this is. I'm sorry to disappoint. Cam explained it to me or tried to. I literally don't know what this is. I have no idea. From what I gather, it's some sort of Twitter movement. I really don't know. I think people might believe there's like lost files of the show, which is just not true. Anyway, Joe with the super chat says, 1, 0 Demogorgons in the Abyss. Did the Mind Flayer use demos to make physical body like in season 3? And 2, did you see the Heroes theory? Season 1 and 3, when it was used, they are believed to be dead, but are not. I hadn't thought about that, and you make a really good point, because you're right. In Holly Jolly, it plays when Will's fake body is found. He's not dead. And then in season 3, it plays right after Hopper's letter's read, and Hopper's not dead. Plays at the end of this season. Is 11 alive? I think 11 is alive, just like 11 Alive News. Yeah, I think 11's alive, and I like that theory a lot. I had not heard that until right now. I subscribe to that as well. I'm on board with the Heroes theory. I'm here for that. Hell yeah to that. Regarding the Demogorgons in the Abyss, my thought process when I was watching it was, it really, again, there's like 2 answers for everything. My thought process watching it was, holy hell, the Mind Flayer's here in physical form. This is the big bad of the show, and Vecna's in there as well. My mind is not, where are their little minions who get beat up by wine bottles and kicked around? Where are they? The ones that got blown up by the laundry in the hospital. I want to see more of them. That wasn't my thought at all. My second thought was, and I believe the Duffers actually explained this in an interview recently. It was today or yesterday. That planet, right? The Abyss is not just that one area. It's this entire world. The demos were just elsewhere in that world, away from there, and that's fine. I really don't like that. Is something again that I find weird that people are getting hung up on, because also realistically, if there were 12 Demogorgons, did people want a bloodbath? Like if there were 12 Demogorgons, 11's fighting the Mind Flayer and Vecna, and our gang has to inflict all this damage to the Mind Flayer to affect the hive mind. How are they taking down 12 to 15 demos? Do you want them all to just die there? I mean, I don't know. I just think it's very strange what people are like wishing had happened. That's just my take on it. But I love the heroes theory. That's great. It's great little. Someone put that together. Whoever put that together, kudos to them, because that makes sense. Thank you for the super chat here. Where are the Demogorgons? Apparently, a lot of people are really hung up on this. Why wasn't Will effective when the Mind Flayer and Vecna were killed? That is more of a concern than where are the Demogorgons. I mean, we saw demos all throughout the season. They're just little goons. They're henchmen. You know what I'm saying? They're so beneath the scale of the Mind Flayer and Vecna to me, personally, at least. Regarding the back half of this, again, I referred to it earlier. I think it's probably he was affected and pushed through. Like it was 10-ish seconds, so he could have been in excruciating pain, but just fought like hell for 10 seconds. The other side of that coin is he was less impacted because he had no secrets to hold anymore. He had the whole coming out scene, and that freed him in a sense. One kid for every hour on the clock, maybe. That's kind of what I was thinking initially as well. But you think the military would be bothered that the party killed all these soldiers, no arrests? I mean, yeah, I think it would have been a better ending if they just arrested everyone, right? No, I'm messing with you. But like, I mean, the military arrests? I mean, I think they don't care enough. They have such bigger fish to fry, in my opinion. I had never thought of this, and who would they have arrested for doing what? I mean, they themselves were doing shady things down there. It's all, yeah. I never thought of this idea of arresting the party, but they could have gone the Seinfeld route, I guess, and just ended with everyone in a jail cell. That would have been nuts. Steve's I've known for a while now, Nance. And Nance and I weren't in the cars sending me because he was just rage baiting Jonathan like crazy for nothing. I love that little exchange between the two of them. Yeah, I quite enjoy that dynamic, especially because for so long, the two of them had been like romantic rivals, or even in the first episode, they're like competing. You know what I mean? So I really liked that they had some finality and were able to be like friendly, and it kind of opened the door to a friendship blossoming in the epilogue, as we see. So I enjoyed that as well. That was a funny line. Gavin in here, shout out Gavin, always asking banger questions. Says, can't stick around because I'm going to see March Supreme. Enjoy the hell out of it, man. It's one of my favorites of 2025. I wanted to ask, what do I think the Stranger Things cast are doing next? Great question. I actually love this question. I'm going to spend some time on it real quick if you guys are all right with that. So we know for sure that Caleb has a movie coming out called GOAT. It's an animated movie, basketball film, I believe. I think so. It's coming out in February, so that's cool. Millie Bobby Brown is doing Enola Holmes 3. I think that also comes out this year. I've not seen Enola Holmes 1 and 2. I know they're on my list. So those are upcoming. Joe Keery has a film coming out called Cold Storage with Liam Neeson. That comes out, I think, in February or March. Pretty cool stuff. I also know that Joe will continue to crush with music, and I'll always listen to his music. Finn Wolfhard, I don't know. I think he also has some music projects lined up. I saw a headline recently he might do something in the world of It. which is interesting. Opening the door to another conversation, I think I am going to be watching It Welcome to Derry and doing a reaction series here on YouTube with full reactions on Patreon, because that seems to be what the folks have voted for. The people have spoken. I remember all throughout October, November, every time I would go live, people would say, "Are you going to talk It Welcome to Derry?" And I was like, I kind of focus on Stranger Things right now, but I might dabble in It Welcome to Derry. So we'll see. Who else? I have no clue what Gaten or Noah are up to. Sadie Sink is going to win an Oscar at some point. It's just a win. I mean, she's incredible. David Harbour has a huge career ahead of him. I mean, he's got 2 Avengers movies coming up, so he'll be all right. Winona Ryder probably just waiting around for Beetlejuice 3 at this point. I think they're going to do that after the success of Beetlejuice 2. And who else? Charlie Heaton and Natalia. I feel like they're just going to hang out and chill. They're good. Maya Hawke has a ton lined up. I'm sure that she's in the new Hunger Games movie. She's in is she playing, is it Wyrus? I think she was playing Wyrus because Beatty is the Jeffrey Wright character. Yeah, I think Wyrus is the character's name. Great casting, in my opinion. So yeah, she's got a project coming out this year. I think they're all going to be just fine. I'm interested to see if anyone like goes back to Broadway for a little bit, if anyone gets cast as like a co-lead in a show, because I do think that that's on the table for them. I think that there will be a new original show that comes out in, say, a year or 2 that will be led by someone from this cast. Who, I don't know. I think a lot of them are going to do movies and music, but I could totally see, like, I'm trying to think of who. I mean, I could see even 2 of the people doing a show. I think Gaten could do a show. I'm interested. I'm interested for sure. Real interested to see. But yeah, I'm excited for what's next in the world of the show, but also what these actors go on to do as well. Someone's going to have to explain this to me because I don't know what this is. Do I need to look it up real quick? I don't want to get... Oh, sorry, I dropped my phone. That's what that was. I really don't know what this is. And it's been brought up like 3 times now. So let me just look it up real quick and I'll give you the gist of it. I have no idea. It's trending on Twitter, though. I'm finding a lot of posts about it, but nothing explaining what it is. I'm still not finding what it is. It's just saying #conformitygate. I think it's from what I'm gathering, it sounds like people think. It seems like people think that there's lost footage or Netflix forced the Duffers to cut stuff, which is just not true, in my opinion. Yeah, this is... I'm reading... I'm getting off Twitter. Twitter's crazy. It sounds insane. And again, I just now am reading up on it because I'm really so out of the loop. It sounds like people are going crazy online. That's what it sounds like. Do you think they ended the show correctly? I do. I think that they nailed it. They landed the plane. Every character, to me, had a satisfying arc, and they landed it. I think they did a great job. Honestly, I really do. Super Chat here, thank you, says, think Tales from 85 is Mike's fictionalized telling of the events in his own novel. 1985 was the only year all 6 of them had to be friends together. It makes sense he wants to play in that year. Ooh, I think that could be fun. I had not thought about that. That's a unique twist. They set it up in a sense as he is writing these stories at the end of the season. Could we see a world where Mike Wheeler, his stories are shared, but they are fictionalized because he can't let people know the real story? I mean, that certainly could be very fun. I hope they address that. I like that theory a lot. Real fun stuff right here. I also wonder, that might have to be the case because what are the threats in the show going to be between seasons? It doesn't matter if it's canon, if it's a fictionalized retelling of something, or just Mike making up stories to relive his childhood. That could be good stuff. Picture of Elle on Mike's desk, sad, Jamie, insane acting. Yeah, Jamie Campbell Bower, I would say, like, if I were to go 4 best performances of this season, he might be 1. Jamie Campbell Bower's up there. I think Sadie and Caleb are in there yet again, just like they were in season 4. And the main reason is because of the reunion scene, but also I just think they're both incredible. Like, I would say for sure Sadie. And then if I had to give a 4th spot, Who am I giving it to? I got Jamie. I'll go Sadie, Caleb. Who's the fourth best or in the conversation for best performance? That's tough. That's brutal. I think I might go. That's tough. I'm thinking. No. Who is it? It's arguably, and I know that people are going to war about performances this season. I was really moved by Finn in the finale. I'll say it. I think he might be in the conversation. Gayton also up there. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I'd say some of them, but yeah, I loved how you could see the painting on Will's wall or on Mike's wall as well in the epilogue. Do I prefer the season 1 and 2 spooky horror theme or the later season action horror theme? I was talking about this recently when I ranked the seasons. I like how there are like chapters of this show, and I like how they all work for me. Okay, the first 2 seasons definitely smaller in scale. They feel like they were shot consecutively almost, and they are like their own era of Stranger Things. Season 3 is the outlier in a sense that it's like the summer fun, colorful season. 4 more dark horror, and then 5 big in scale, also kind of the darker finale. I think it just like if I'm talking the vibes of the show, I think I would have to say season 1 and 2. Like that's not to say those are my favorite seasons, but I just think something about that era, the vibes of small town, smaller scale, that to me, it's what sold me on Stranger Things. It's what got us all to fall in love with the show. And so I'd probably say in terms of the setting, the aura, I would go with season 1 and 2 over the later seasons, probably. By the way, this is sick. This is Robin's sweatshirt from season 5. Not the one she wore, it's just the design. All right, where the hell was I? Thank you guys again for being here. I know it's 3:40 in the afternoon on a Sunday, so it's not my normal stream time, but thank you guys for joining regardless. Let's do a little speed round here, and then I'm going to hop right over to the super chats. I will say I was pretty bummed we didn't get Dr. Owens. That's like maybe the one thing where I'm like, damn, where is he? But at the same time, it makes sense that he wouldn't show up because he was taken by the government. And so like, it's sad. He was upended from his life for fighting his fight. And where is he? The government probably made him disappear. And that happens in the real world. And so it's somewhat fitting. I do wish we got to see him again, but it is what it is. Seems like a lot of people are, that's like the one thing I was upset about is where's Dr. Owens, So happy about Lumax, mind game since the beginning. And you know what? We're going to imagine that they go on to live a happy life together forever as well. Justice for Dr. Owens. Dr. Owens, he was missed. I will say that's like the one character. That's the one character that I was like, damn, I wish we saw him again, but we didn't. But it makes sense. It makes sense. Posters ranked. That's a tough one. I think I might have ranked them after. I don't remember. I think I did rank them. I genuinely don't remember. I think I did rank them though. But I would say the best poster still is probably the season 1 poster. The one on that's just like the one that if you went to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, that's where I went as a kid, you would see that on the VHS cover or the DVD cover and be like, that's the one. Which I feel like people might not realize. I did go to video stores growing up. I'm not like 30, but I mean, until I was 10, 11 years old, I would go to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video to rent movies. Like I vividly remember going in like 2009 or 2010, and that's where I rented Star Trek, like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I got it, and I also watched like all the X-Men movies for the first time because I rented them, the original trilogy. I remember renting like old war films as well and like westerns. So like I had my time. I know obviously I'm more familiar with the streaming era and like even Redbox, but I did experience that era as well. I feel like I got the best of both worlds. Being born in 1999, I got to have like the 2000s childhood, which had like a lot of 90s influence still. But then like as I was in high school, I got like the cooler stuff. You know what I mean? Netflix was popping. All right. My nose is itching. Okay. I'm pretty content with where everyone ended up, to be honest with you. The only thing I would say is, again, I wish we saw like Dr. Owens. That's such a small thing. I wish we saw Susie. I'm actually totally fine with not seeing Vicky because I view it as like, are they together? Aren't they? Not every couple, ends up together. The Purple Rain needle drop with the insanely emotional Malevolent scene literally broke me. Music in the finale was 1,000 out of 10. I will say the finale soundtrack made up for the lack of needle drops leading up to it because, man, they went in. 2 Prince songs, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, Heroes by David Bowie. They really, really went all in on the finale needle drops, and it worked for me. I bet the spinoff will be good. I will be covering the spinoff just like I covered Stranger Things. So, like, I promise you, I'm not done talking about this world ever. I obviously am talking about tons of other movies and shows in 2026. So stay tuned for that outside of the world of Stranger Things. But I'll be covering Tales from 85 and, of course, whatever the finale or whatever the spinoff is as well. You should. That's my answer to this. You should. Go for it. What do I think happened to Vicky? I think there's a chance that her and Robin just drifted apart. They, maybe went different routes after everything settled, and that's just life sometimes. I know it sucks, but like they were such a new couple anyway that obviously you wish the best for them, but not everyone can end up together realistically. All right, I got some super chats coming in here. I'm gonna pop back over to those. This one here I've answered. This is so I can keep track of where I am. I have answered this one. I've answered this one. I've answered this one. I've answered this one. All right, this is one I have not answered from Joshua. It says, will this show come back and do an It Chapter 2 style where the characters are back as adults, or will it be a full-on reboot but as a movie? I don't think they're ever going to bring back the original cast. I think this will be a Harry Potter situation where they never bring back, like they never continued that story after. I don't think they would. They're not going to do it. And I know that it's like easy to say that now because 20 years from now, when we're all are like kids now and like we're all much older, there could be a hankering for that. But I truly believe this is the end. This is the end of Stranger Things, like the main show. We're going to have animated spinoffs and we're going to have live action spinoffs, but we're not going to see Millie back as 11. We're not going to see Joe Keery back as Steve or David Harbour as Hopper. Like that's it. And they know they can't run the risk of ruining that ending. So no, I don't think we're ever going to see them again. If they were to do it, let's be real. They couldn't top this. They couldn't top this ending. So just don't do it at all. Don't do it at all if you can't top the original. It's extremely rare for legacy sequels to surpass originals. The only one to me that has done that is Top Gun Maverick. And that's one movie. We're making a sequel to one movie 40 years later. That's fine. This is a 5-season TV show. You cannot top it. So no, I don't think we'll see an It Chapter 2 style thing for this. Am I planning on watching season 5 in one sitting? At some point, certainly, yes. I'd love to watch it over the course of a day or two. The super chat here says that the Conformity Gate is apparently a surprise episode people think that's dropping. I don't see that happening. Yeah, if that's what Conformity Gate actually is, thank you for explaining it, by the way, Ethan. Something is going on in society. That's mass psychosis, right? I mean, that's insane. There's no way there's another episode dropping. Why would they have another episode? The show is over. The show ended perfectly. Have people actually convinced themselves there's another episode? There's no way. Come on, guys. Come on. And if you think that in the chat as well, really think about it. Why would they have another episode drop? Why? The end was perfect. The end was perfect in their eyes. I loved it. They're not dropping another episode of the show. No way. They're not doing it. It's not happening. So is Vecna under the control of the Mind Flayer? There's a line where he says, we are one. Like, I need it. It needs me. It's kind of insinuated, hinted at that in a way, the Mind Flayer needed Henry to like to reach its full potential, like almost like having a host, if you will. And then Henry felt stronger and was empowered through this connection to the Mind Flayer. So they're kind of one. It's not like one directly controls the other. There's some influences for sure. Like you could say the Mind Flayer corrupted Henry, but Henry didn't fight it. Like he could have, and he chose to give in. So he let the darkness win. He almost wanted it to, making him a real villain. And so that's my take on that. What's up, Chris? How do you think Collie survived? I don't. I think Collie's dead personally. But maybe not. I mean, I think that ultimately, I do think even if 11's alive, I think that you never know. It's trippy. I'm thinking about it too much right now. I think that she is dead, and I think that somehow in her final, moments of life, she was able to project a spell. But also, I guess you could view it as she faked out everyone that she was dying too. It's trippy, and I try not to think about it too much. But that's something that, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is she alive? Do you think she is? I think that she's dead. Personally, I do. I can't believe that Elle's alive, but the only problem I have with it is, wouldn't Kali be long gone and dead by the time they reach the Max Z? We saw her die. Wouldn't they be too far from her? Yeah, so the thing is, we don't know how far exactly Hopper, Elle, and Kali were in episode 5 when they're driving away from the Max Z. They're clearly a ways away, but they're not close. And so if you do believe Elle's alive, it's kind of the part of believing, right? It's a story, and you have to stretch the imagination a little bit, because there's, again, I've told you guys earlier in the stream, there's a world where I believe Elle is dead. You do have to suspend disbelief a little bit to believe she's alive, but that's kind of goes to show the heart of it all, where, like, these kids are believing the story. They're holding on to the magic. You have to turn your brain off a little to believe it at their story, I'm saying. And so they're wistful, they're hopeful. It is like, it is about, do you believe? And so that's kind of how I interpret it personally. This super chat here says, hey, thanks for helping me getting through this past finale sadness, the post finale sadness, excuse me. The content has been great and looking forward to the future. Well, thank you for the super chat. And yes, it's sad for sure. I've never felt a post show depression of this level ever. I don't think I ever will. Like, I was disgusted with myself when Game of Thrones ended. I was like beside myself. I don't feel that way this time, thankfully. My nose keeps itching. Another super chat here says, I didn't really care about the no Demogorgons thing while watching, but the Duffers saying we thought about it, decided against it, does confirm to me that they have a problem with overcooking / thinking. Fair. I think that there have been instances in the show where they have fault, like they got cold feet and they were going to commit to an idea and they backed out of it. Notably, probably Max's death, but in the end, I'm glad Max lived, because I'm happy that we got to see her and we got to see Lumax happy in the end. Plus, imagine season 5 without Max. What would they have done if Max was dead? Like, how would they have handled Camazotz? I don't know what they would have written. Personally, they would have had to restructure the entire season. If you think about it, I guess Holly could have just been solo, or they could have had someone fill in for Max, but who would it have been? I don't know. That would have been something for sure. But I do agree in a sense. I mean, when you have these grand worlds, there's so many routes you can go. And so it probably does lend itself to a bit of overthinking at times. Love the Murray profile pic and username. Kiss my jolly ass. I can't wait to see what the next big Netflix show will be, with Cobra Kai and Stranger Things ending and Outer Banks ending this year also. Yeah, and Squid Game ended last year. A lot of big ones have ended for them. Like, there's a bit of a transitional period here for Netflix where they're trying to find their next big dog show. Outer Banks is going to be sad. I will be covering Outer Banks heavily. I will do episode reactions, breakdowns, all that. I love Outer Banks. P for L, baby. P for L. Where are my Outer Banks people at in the chat? Sound off. Pogues for life. Anyway, I'm considering watching some of their big shows now, because I want to be in the conversation. I'm hesitant, though. I'll tell you why. I've never seen anime. So I've never seen the One Piece anime, but I know the One Piece live action show is very popular. I know of people who've watched it without watching the anime and said it's fine. You can understand it and enjoy it. So I would be falling under that category. Then there's also the Avatar, The Last Airbender live action, which I watched the animated show growing up. So I haven't seen it in years. It would damn near be a first time watch for me when I go back and rewatch that leading up to this new season of live action. And so, like, those are two shows I could cover. It's just, I guess it's a bit outside of my wheelhouse, and I would just have to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, but it's something I'd be willing to try. But yeah, I think they're going to have to do Netflix. That is, they're going to have to do Squid Game US with Fincher involved. Literally one of my most anticipated things. And I know that people bashed the end of Squid Game. I liked it. call me crazy. I liked it a lot. And so I think they could do something awesome there. We're going to have a Stranger Things spinoff. Cobra Kai. I remember when it ended, there were so many talks of potential spinoffs, and I was even excited for spinoffs. I'm worried that they might not do anything with the continuation of that world. They might not. So that'd be a bummer, but I'd accept it. I think the show had a great ending. And then you've got Outer Banks. That'll be the end of that. Wednesday is a huge show. I hope they quickly get a third season out. But realistically, that won't come out until like late 2027, probably, like in the fall of 2027, if I had to guess. So we'll be waiting a while for more Wednesday. But that's just the name of the game with Netflix shows, I feel. You got to wait 2 to 3 years for a season. Bridgerton is huge, too. I know it has a bit of a different audience, but Bridgerton is huge. With the new animated Stranger Things series, answer some questions or even include animated Henry Creel, even though it's based after season 2. I doubt they're going to dabble with any Creel stuff in the animated show. I think they'll mainly want to focus on the kids and the OG party, Max 11. I think they'll want to focus on that just to make it less, like, to minimize the potential of confusing any canon or lore. Does that make sense? I don't think they want to muddy the waters in that sense. They don't want to, you already have the play that kind of taps into Henry Creel and all that stuff. I don't think they'd want to do it with the animated show as well. Never say never, right? If they do multiple seasons and one's called Tales from 85, one's called Tales from 86, that's set, maybe after or like between season 4 and 5 or between season 3 and 4, like there are a lot of options there. We'll see, but I don't think they'll do any Henry Creel stuff in the animation. All right, this one here says, I'm still on a high that Lumax made it. Literally my favorite ship ever. My only complaint is that we didn't get more of them. Yeah, fair. I definitely agree that they are one of the best in the show. They actually filmed the Lumax movie date at the Tar Theater in Atlanta. I've probably been in that auditorium. So like there are so many locations, and I honestly, sometimes my brain moves too fast. I edit it out on YouTube. I should make a bloopers video one day of me just because I speak too fast sometimes. I'm letting all of you know in here right now. I don't know if I'll make this happen. I'm going to try my best to make it happen, but I wanted to address it on a live stream so that it's out there for all 809 of you and those who are watching on the replay. I had a vision, and I want to make it happen, and I think I can. I have obviously done filming location videos in the past. If you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you've seen I've done vlogs. I've done, 4? Is it 4 or 3? First one was in 2022 leading up to season 4. I've done film and location vlog, okay? I want to do the ultimate film and location vlog. It's ambitious. It might not be feasible. I'm just going to lay it all out right here. I don't care. I want to talk about it to someone, that being you guys. So I have a vision for this year, the first half of this year. It's not going to be something I do all in one week or all at once. It would take time, but I would go to every filming location in the show outside of those that are not in the United States, because I would not go to Iceland. That's crazy. I would love to, but like I think that's where they filmed the final thing with 11. Like just to go to that one shot, maybe, but that's a crazy trip. And then I believe wherever they filmed the Russian prison stuff, that's not where I wouldn't go there. However, everything in the United States of America, I would go to. Fortunately, and that sounds crazy to a lot of you probably, fortunately, I live in Georgia. I live less than an hour away from most of the main filming locations. I've also been to a lot of them. So I had a vision where I would go almost in chronological order. I would literally go through the entire show, and I would pick out every location, and I would go there and I would recreate scenes from there, or I would stand there and I would like actually make it the most in-depth vlog ever. Literally the ultimate Stranger Things filming locations vlog, every location in the show. Now, caveat, if you followed the news at all, I would not do Hawkins Lab. I would maybe go by there very quickly and say, this is where they did Hawkins Lab, and explain why I can't go there. I won't get into it, but if you look into it, you should know what I'm talking about. But I do have footage from there from about a month and a half ago that I would probably just include. So that kind of checks that off the box. But this would involve it would be I really was writing it down. I was trying to map it out. I'm like, there are so many I've been to. There are a lot I have not been to. I've never been to Brimborn from season 3. That's in Atlanta though. The final shot from season 5 of Steve and Dustin is at Oglethorpe University, of which I've been to many times and drive by almost daily. So there are a lot of locations right near me, and I'll do them all. Like, that's the goal. I don't know if this is even possible. It sounds crazy, but I think it's doable. I mean, it would also involve probably, I mean, I would probably have to go to the buyer's house again, which I have been to, by the way. I actually got to go there. I didn't stay there. The people who own the house reached out to me. This was when was this? This was 2024. Yes, 2024. And I went and did a tour of it and I filmed there. It would involve going back there though. So like there are so many things, so many moving parts. There's stuff in New Mexico, I'm pretty sure, like where they filmed all the Lenora stuff. Like it would involve flying. Like it would be an insane video. The biggest video I've ever done. And so I don't know if I'm going to commit to it, but it's just an idea I had. And I was like, this would be a really cool way to like celebrate the end of the show. I think it would just be a lot of fun. So it's something I'm definitely thinking about doing at least. Yeah, I see the chat says, yes, yeah, it would be awesome. That's what I'm thinking. I know you've been to a lot of locations too. I would honestly maybe even message you about some of the ones you've been to, because I saw you've been, but it's like, I want to do this thing. Damn it. It's the end of the show. I want to go all out. Let's see. Let's do a speed round here in the chat. And then I see there are some super chats coming in, so I'm going to hop over on those. Let's do like a real speed round. I always say I'm going to do one. Let's do a real speed round. Hold on. I'm talking fast answers, because there's so many questions I want to get to that I never can get to because they're all coming in so fast. All right. Where was I? Here we go. It was my perfect ending of the show. I wouldn't change a thing. I am excited for Tales from 85. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for watching from another country. I appreciate it. I know a lot of you guys are tuned in from outside of the U.S. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. What happened to Dr. Owens? I think he's been disappeared by the government. He might be held prisoner. He might be working for them against his will. I think he's off the grid, sadly, which, you know, it sucks. I know a lot of you guys have asked about him, but yeah, it's a damn shame what happened to him, in my opinion. Why do you think they didn't show Mr. Clark or Erica at all after being taken by the military? Because there wasn't much else to show. I would say they probably just like, they didn't do anything crazy, and they were just like, all right, you guys, we got you. Now you go sit in the back of this truck while we wait for the others. Like, there's nothing much else to show, in my opinion. Will the spinoff be set in another country? I would imagine no. I think it'll be set in another state in the U.S., but I would imagine no. I think it might be a period piece, just like this show, but not in the 80s. Maybe the 90s, or maybe even the 40s, 50s, or 60s. Was the series a D&D game all along? I don't think so, but you could view it that way. I view the end credits as like a nod, an homage to Stranger Things, or in a sense, Mike wrote down all the stories, created this campaign based on his friends, him and his friends' adventures, but obviously everyone views it as fiction. Or, I'm about to sneeze, hold on. Maybe not, hold on. We'll see. It almost happened. Oh, we're good. Or if you, I would hate this personally. You could view it as, oh, someone else out there in the world was playing the Stranger Things D&D campaign, and that's what this whole show was. I think it's just a nod to fans. Why isn't the series continuing with Holly, Derek, and Debbie? Look, I'd be there, but I don't think they want to do anything else in the world of Hawkins, because then people would just be asking about, where's Steve? Where's Dustin? Where's so-and-so? And they wouldn't want to do it, because then it would just be season 6 at that point. You know what I'm saying? You think Nancy should have died? No. They could have killed her, but I'm glad that I told y'all I didn't want anyone to die all along. I would be content if no one died. And people did die, technically. 11 died in a sense. Even if she's alive, she's gone. Like, they went the Captain America route. Granted, Captain America is coming back, apparently. We'll talk about that a lot this year. Trust. But I got thoughts on Doomsday. But yeah, it kind of is like, I'm totally cool with what they did. I'm cool with it. I'm reading through trying to find some that I haven't answered yet, by the way. Shout out to Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay. What if she did that? Would there be a season 6? I don't think there's going to be a season 6 for the show, personally. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Funko dying? I just got the Steve and his Beamer pop, rip Beamer, ripped to his car. Yeah, is Funko dying? I mean, if so, it's a sad reality. I don't honestly know. I've seen reports for years that Funko was going to go out of business, but I have so many Funko Pops. Like I wouldn't, if it went out of business, like I'm not doing anything. It's not going to change my collection. I'm on the quest to find every Stranger Things Funko Pop, except for the caveat there is I don't do, like if there's a chase and a common, like I'll just do one of them. Unless it's really cool. And if it's just like a blood splatter, I'm good with having the one with the blood. I don't need the standard. I have, like, for example, I have a Henry Pop signed by Jamie Campbell Bower, but I don't have the variation of it. I have 11 at the end of season 4 with blood, but there's one without blood. Like I'm good. I don't need every Demogorgon mold. I don't need the black light Funkos. I think that's what they're called, like the ones that have like neon all over them. I don't need those, but I want to get like every standard pop. So I have a lot of work to do for season 2 and season 3. I have every season 5 pop. The one that I don't have has not come out yet. It's already been pre-ordered. I have almost all the season 4 ones. Season 2 and 3, I don't have as many of, but season 1, I have a good chunk of as well. I have a whole collection right there. I would show you guys right now, but it's kind of inconvenient to move the stream setup. I want to do a Stranger Things collection video at some point. Don't know when I will, but we'll see. Yeah. I hope Funko doesn't die. I love Funko Pops. I'll always buy them at cons, no matter what. I'm like, I got to find one. And the con in my city is not happening this year. Pretty bummed about it. That's why I'm probably going to go to MegaCon. It's ATL Con. It's not happening this year. It's like done apparently. So I'm trying to go to MegaCon because Orlando is not a far drive for me, and I want to just go. Even if I don't do any like panel related things, if someone from Stranger Things is there, I want to go. Like that's kind of why. And I think someone will go. They usually get somebody. And I know. Hell, hold on. Someone is there. Sean Astin's there. I don't have Bob's autograph. I might get a Bob Pop sign. So there we go. I met him once with Cam very briefly. She got a Lord of the Rings pop sign, but like, I feel like he would be appreciative of like, oh, you want to talk about Stranger Things? Because I feel like 90% of people meeting Sean Astin are talking about Lord of the Rings or Goonies or maybe Rudy. I don't know. I think actually maybe I am downplaying. I think a lot of people probably would bring up Bob, but I would exclusively be like, Bob Newby, man. I want to talk about it real quick. Alrighty. Let's do some super chats. I've answered this one. Hold on. I answered that one. Answered this one. I'm just trying to find my spot again. Sorry. Answered that one. Why didn't Billy get powers like Will when he flayed? Why didn't Billy get powers like Will when he flayed? I think that's an interesting question, something that wasn't thought of probably at that point in time. But you could also argue that he was much stronger. Does that make sense? Like, because he was tapped in, like he was clearly, I mean, he was freaking, I'm thinking of the sauna test episode right now. Like he was destroying that door. He was unhinged. So I don't think he would have powers like Will personally. Yeah, I think Will was special. We'll say that. Is it just me, or was the main title theme different in the last episode? It was. They did just the logo. There were no names that popped up. We had a special end credits to make it very cinematic, like a movie, which I thought was awesome. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed what they did with the credits. I thought that it felt like a movie, and it was beautiful to see them sort of highlight all the big moments from the show in those final credits. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Another one here says, who are your top 3 duos in the show? Also off topic, but was disappointed in the Dogs lost to Ole Miss. It's still go Dogs for life. Yeah. Yeah, that was very, very irritating to me and frustrating, but that's life, right? Brutal. Who are your top 3 duos in the show? Steve and Dustin, I feel like it has to be on everyone's list, right? Especially, I mean, after season 5, they've strengthened their bond more than ever. I say Steve and Dustin's on there. I'm going to say Steve and Robin is on there as well for me. I loved them in season 3 and, of course, season 4. They're great in season 5 when we have moments between them. Them two, I want to switch it up a little bit here. How about genuinely Max and Holly being one of the best duos in the entire show? Like, that's up there for me too. So those 3 stand out. Of course, there are many others and ones that I like more, like Eddie and Dustin, for example, is great. You've got, I mean, so many. Hopper and Joyce, but that's more of a couple, so I don't view that as like a duo. Robin and Nancy in season 4 are fun. You've got Dustin and Lucas in season 2. There are a lot of really great duos throughout the history of the show. When do I think Tales from 85 will come out? Probably the earliest I see it coming out is July. I see it coinciding with the release, with the anniversary of Stranger Things premiering on Netflix. I think that we could get it July 15th. That could be fun. So that is certainly there's a potential for that. I could also see it coming out in the fall. You know, they dropped a teaser for it. I want to say that was on, or like a little behind the scenes thing. And that showed like they'd made pretty good progress. So it's funky with animation. You never know. I think of like Marvel. There were times where they showed like glimpses of Marvel Zombies, and then we didn't get that project for 2 or 3 years. So it really just depends. They can change a lot about it as well in post. What do you think about the WSQK dial changing? A lot of people asked this in the stream leading up to the finale. And me and Cam deduced it's just a Duffer continuity error. Like how the arrow's gray versus red. It's just a continuity error. And that happens sometimes in this show especially, but in all shows or movies. It's simply just a continuity error. So that's kind of my take on it is, they forgot, really, which I know sounds silly, but they're focused on such grander things that they forgot the color of the arrow on the dial. It's true. That's kind of where I'm at with it. The interesting thing is that you have to suspend your disbelief both ways to believe either one. If Callie bled out, how did Elle use her powers? Yeah, I mean, look, that's the interesting part, isn't it? It's a big old mystery. You pose a good question here. Yeah, I mean, it's food for thought, truly. And I've been sort of processing that ending myself. But let me just play Josh Groban's "Believe" from the Polar Express real quick. Snack with a super chat says it was beautiful that Collie was able to heal a bit from Hopper's speech to Elle. Her entire life, she hasn't had a sweet parental figure. That is true. Yeah, that's valid because especially considering her arc where she was, I mean, all of her friends were killed in front of her and then she was basically experimented on for so long. Yeah. I don't know what this means, but thank you for the super chat. What? That's crazy. I think did you want me to scream Stranger Things? I won't damage my voice today. This super chat says, hey, Chris, I honestly love the ending of Stranger Things. First time I cried that much on any show. By the way, I'd still love to make you a Discord server. Well, thank you. Yeah, Discord is something that I'm so unfamiliar with. I'm not the most technologically savvy, if you will. I wish I was, but the idea of starting up something new scares me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here, and so it freaks me out. Discord, I had a Discord server at one point in 2022, maybe. I think it was 2022, and I had it. It was just on Patreon, but it didn't really go anywhere. Like I had it, and I thought I figured it out, but it all confuses me. But that honestly isn't a bad idea moving forward. Maybe it is something I should invest in. I would not want to run it, obviously, because I mean, like, I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you. For Discord, I'm like, I don't know the ins and outs of this thing, but it could be fun. It could be fun because that would basically be a big group chat of everyone in the community, right? That's what I gather. Could be fun. A place for all messages, different topics, Avengers Doomsday, Stranger Things, Tales from 85. Like that could be fun. I think I actually do know Discord. It's just I need to commit to it or not if I want to. Cobra Guy Hawk, always good to see you in here. I always feel bad. I remember one time I was in a stream and someone was spamming something and I went to block or like kick them out of the chat and I accidentally kicked you out of the chat. And I always think of that every time I see it. And I was like, I had to like figure out, I went into YouTube. I was like, how to unban someone. And I went to like your page and I was like, let me fix that. I felt bad. Anyway, just a thought. What's up, Chris? Such a dull ending to Stranger Things. I don't understand the hate. Can't wait to see you react to more shows on your channel. After you finish each show, you should do polls. Fair enough. Yeah, so I have reacted to Cobra Kai on the channel every episode. It's poorly edited. I edited it. That's how you know. I edit all my videos except for reaction videos now. But like, no, I edited every Stranger Things breakdown, and that took a lot out of me to do because I'm not the fastest editor, but Cam is a much better editor for reactions. That's why my Stranger Things one looks 1,000 times better. And if you watch them, they're way better than my Cobra Kai videos. Now, I still love the Cobra Kai videos because I had fun. Like that experience, like honestly, I loved watching that show, and it was so fun, and I met so many awesome people through it. And like, what a show to like get my foot in the door on reacting to things with, right? It's so over the top and cheesy, but it knows what it is. And there's so many moments where I just was like, hell yeah. Like I was like jumping out of my seat. It was just fun, you know? That's like if I was like, if someone came up to me and was like, what show do you wish you reacted to first? I'm saying Cobra Kai. Like that is the one that, I mean, it was awesome. It was such a fun era of the channel as well. But no, I don't know why I just got on that spiel. Oh, I edited those videos and I look back and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like there's so many things where I'm like, you should have put, for starters, you should have put yourself in this corner. So it looks like you're looking at the show more than looking off screen. Like that is one thing I just never did. Why is like, I'm a square when I like being the circle better. There's so many things where I'm like, what are you doing? I can't even watch some of my old videos because I think I don't like the way I edited them, or I don't like the way that the audio sounds on some of them. So anyway, that was so random. Yes, I plan to react to It Welcome to Derry, I think. I got to watch It again and It Chapter 2 again, which I don't want to do. I do not care for that movie. But 10 episodes, I've heard that's the one people want to see on the channel. I'll do it. So I think that's what the goal is here on Patreon and YouTube. So excuse me, stay tuned for that. I'm not a reaction channel. Like I'm not shifting gears to just react things, but it's something I want to incorporate more. I think it's fun content. I think if I'm not editing it, I'm down to do it way more. Shout out Cam and any potential future editor that comes on board. If I don't have to edit something, I'll react 1,000 times more. It's the editing of reaction videos that makes me physically ill. Like I can't tell you how grueling that is. Like if anyone is a reaction editor, I have so much respect because you're fighting copyright blocks. It's not even like an issue of, oh, this video is claimed by Warner Bros, so you can't make any money off it. Like that's okay. I want to have the video out there. Like sometimes they'll be like, no, like 2 of my Netflix ones, my Stranger Things ones got pulled, like from fully taken down, and you have to re-upload it. It's a pain in the butt. And so, yeah. I definitely want to react to more stuff. I know I've gone back and forth in my life. I've been like, oh, I don't like reacting to stuff. I do like it. I don't know. Not having to edit it is what I realized I didn't like doing. And if I have that weight lifted off my shoulders, I'm down to react to way more stuff. Thank you for the super chat here. Any questions associated with either of these, let me know. Wanted to wish you well and hope you had a good New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year. It's crazy. It's we're 4 days in already. Super chat here says, am I the only one that likes season 5? No. Everyone in my life who's not chronically online or online at all really liked it. I thought the season was good and don't understand when people say it doesn't feel like Stranger Things. I don't either. Yeah, I don't either. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in my life that I've talked to who aren't in online communities at all, or really online at all. 4, 5, 6 people that I can think of that loved the way it ended, that aren't on Twitter at all, that aren't on TikTok at all. Hardly on, I should say. So yeah, a lot of the you'll find this in any movie or show. It's not just Stranger Things. When something is popular enough, there is a section of people who are very loud about it online, and they themselves are not even really fans of it. And I'm not saying they're not fans because they don't like it. They genuinely aren't fans. You could ask them 10 basic questions about insert movie or show here, and they would fail the test. But they're going to be loud online because negativity does garner a lot of viewership on TikTok, especially. And I'm not going to name anyone, but I have seen creators shit on Stranger Things leading up to it, and they were making 20 videos about it when it came out because, and positively, about volume 1. And then volume 2, there was a shift. They went negative, and then they're middle road for the finale. And it's just following whatever trends there are. And I think the biggest piece of advice I give to anybody in the world, not even about content, is just don't let someone online change your opinion. Just have your opinion. Like I struggled with this for a while, like just this feeling of like, oh my God, I feel a certain way about something, but this person, like, how are people going to view me? Like, just feel how you want to feel about something. Turn your phone off. Don't scroll on Twitter for a day or two after something comes out. You don't have to even consume any other opinion. Just talk to people in the real world about it, or message someone. But like the void that is consuming things on the feeds of social media, like who cares? You're never gonna, like, the world was never designed for us to consume people's opinions on everything 24/7, to go full Bo Burnham on everybody, I guess. But it's true. And so yeah, people can feel the way they want to feel about the finale, but I do think that some of the loud rage online, like it's inauthentic to me. Inauthentic, grasping at straws. It's not real. Isaiah, is everything good to see you in here? Say, Chris, I watched the finale in theaters. Great experience. I don't know what to do now that it's over. Question: do you think Eleven will meet Thor in New Asgard? Maybe. Avengers 7. I wonder if Millie Bobby Brown will join the MCU. I wonder who from Stranger Things will join the MCU. You've already got 2 Stranger Things alum in there. Joseph Quinn is the Human Torch. David Harbour is Red Guardian. Now Sadie Sink is someone in Spider-Man. We don't know who yet. So there's 3. Who's next? I'd be willing to bet. I don't know, actually. I have no clue who will join next, but someone will. Maybe Caleb? I could see Caleb joining the MCU. Yeah, I'm honestly envious of those who got to see the finale on the big screen, mainly because of the Mind Flayer fight. Like, seeing that on the big screen it's awesome. Like, it must have been. I was thinking about it in retrospect. I was like, that would have been super cool to see on the big screen. I also think they could have played the finale for like a month and people would have gone and it would have made money. But I get it. They just wanted to do a limited run. There was no feasible way I could have gone. I obviously watched it here right when it came out, and then I made a bunch of content about it. And then literally all day New Year's Day, I was outlining or filming or editing, and then watched the Georgia game, which was disgusting, at 8:00 at night. But and that was that. So then the run was over. I couldn't have seen it. But yeah, I saw a lot of people had a great time in the theater, which is cool. Stranger Things rough will forever be with me. 10 years memories. Yes, we'll always have the memories. We'll always have the stories, and we'll always have whatever comes next. The world's nowhere near ending, like for the show. And we'll always have tons of other shows and movies to discuss as well. Alexis said, just wanted to thank you and Cam for all your Stranger Things content. Well, thank you. I salute you. Thank you for the super chat. And we have a lot of things planned. Cam is going hard on YouTube right now. Honestly, go subscribe to her channel if you haven't. Help get her to 20K on YouTube. She's very close, so definitely go do that. She talks Percy Jackson, Bridgerton. There's another big one too. I'm forgetting. Daredevil. There's another big one I'm forgetting. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but she also talks Stranger Things over there. So go follow her, show her some love. I will be covering lots of Stranger Things this year, but also Outer Banks. Lots of Doomsday and Brand New Day content. And I have a couple videos coming out soon-ish. Just talking movies and shows in general. Anticipated TV show tier list, anticipated movie tier list. Instead of my traditional top 10s, I wanted to switch things up this year. I want to embrace the idea of change. I often run from it, and I hate change usually. There's a bar from Ratatouille. What is it? Is it what is it? Change. Hold on. I don't remember. I don't want to butcher it, but it's about change. It's a beautiful line. Anyway, I kind of want to just switch things up this year. And so I think I'm going to do tier lists exclusively for what I'm anticipated or excited for. I have bunch of final Stranger Things videos I still am working on. So that content is not slowing down. But about mid-January, because January is a dumpster for movies, I hate to say it, and a lot of time shows. And so I'll have time to do those anticipated videos as well. And I love a good box office prediction. I will be doing that. I love a good box office prediction. I think I was horribly wrong in 2025, but I probably will do one again this year still. Bryce says, can you rank every finale episode? The Upside Down, the Gate, the Battle of Starcourt, the Piggyback, and the Right Side Up. I will be doing that literally in a few days. So I promise I'll be doing that in video form, but I will tell you that my favorite, I'll tell you my favorite. My favorite is the Right Side Up right now. I just think beautiful ending. That's difficult though. And I tell you what, that's one that like that ranking will change over time. I think the worst one is, I'll tell you my favorite and least favorite. My favorite is the Right Side Up. My least favorite is probably the Upside Down, which is crazy to say, but sorting the rest of those out is going to be really, really a challenge for me. You might be surprised where some of them land as well. Jake with the super chat with a LeBron Heat profile picture says, I think one key question everyone is failing to acknowledge. How the hell would 11 even get to Iceland? No ID, no passports, and is wanted always by the government. I mean, this one actually I did think of, and I didn't think of it as hard to believe at all. Excuse me. I think it's very believable that she could have just hopped on some sort of cargo ship and just snuck across the ocean. That really doesn't bother me at all. I think it's super easy to sneak around, especially in the 80s. Like this was 1989. She probably could have just got on a flight. They would have been like, oh, you're good. You're chilling. I mean, it was a different world back then, you know? So that one I never really was bothered by that. I thought of it too. I was like, I wonder how she got there. But then I'm like, she could have just been like, hey, I'll pay you to, you know, she could have just found someone and be like, hey, I'll pay you. I don't know how she got the money. She stole it. Who knows? I'll pay you to fly me to Iceland. This super chat here says two things that bother me. One, no Stancy closure after last season. And two, why are they all on the roof acting like friends? They've never all been together, ? So my response to the first part is I think we did get Stancy closure. Steve himself acknowledges that, you know, Steve and Nancy both acknowledge that they would not end up with one another, right? With the Jancy scene in Hawkins' lab, Nancy kind of pokes fun at the idea of Steve wanting 6 kids and is like, that just wouldn't work out. Like, he's got great hair, but he's not my guy. And then Steve, you know, tells Jonathan, like, I accepted a long time ago that Nancy and I weren't, you know, on the table, wasn't in the cards for us. And so there's closure and acknowledgement from both those characters respectively. I don't think they needed to have closure together because they weren't together. They've been separated. So I think that's totally normal and good. So I'm fine with that. And then regarding why they're all on the roof, I will have to disagree. I mean, they're all shown together in the first episode of season 5, all 4 of them hanging out and plotting. And that's when, you know, Jonathan and Steve have that little moment where they run up the radio tower. So it is, I mean, it's safe to assume from that and from their moments together. Obviously, Robin was kind of split off from them when they were in the Upside Down, but it's safe to assume based on the first episode that they've been a crew hanging out at the radio station for 18 months. So, excuse me. It's also like Robin and Steve have been best friends forever. Jonathan and Nancy were dating forever and maintained friendship and still have a love in their heart for each other. And Nancy and Steve have been friendly. So it's kind of, and Nancy and Robin are good friends. So it's like they're a friend group in Hawkins. So no, I would say they have been shown together and they are still friends personally. Henry's timeline. When was he at Hawkins' lab? This super chat comes from Heather. I haven't seen the first Shadow play, but it is assumed that he was at Hawkins' lab, and I think the exact date is somewhere on Stranger Things wiki. It is assumed after he is taken in by Brenner that he is at the lab from, let's look it up. I forget the exact date, but let me look this up real quick. When is Henry in Hawkins' lab? He was first brought to the lab in 1959 around, after killing his family, and he was experimented on, And then he's an orderly in 1979. So, he's there for, like, a while. From, like, 59 to 79, essentially, right? He's kind of just there. That's kind of what I've always gathered. He's not out of it until he's sent to the abyss by L. But I recommend the play if you guys are able to see it. I haven't. I've only read spoiler synopsis, unfortunately. Lexi says, my friend and I were interviewed leaving the theater after the finale. We mentioned your channel as a part of our show. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. That's sweet. That's very nice. Thank you, guys. That's sick. Where were you? Did you see it in LA? I know they had the, what's it called? Is it the Chinese theater out there? Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. I love talking this show. It's been a damn blast, and I ain't done talking about it. I didn't get to see the finale in theaters again. I was slam packed with covering it and watching my football team disappoint me, like I'm back in the Mark Richt era. But it's life. That's life. Isaiah is everything with super chats. Is another question. How do you think the Hawkins police reacted to Hopper being alive, applying for chief? I bet you that man walked in and they were like, "Hallelujah, you're back. You're so much better than Powell and Callahan. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Oh, I bet Florence was ecstatic. The secretary, man, that man's a legend in Hawkins. I bet you they were like, "Hell yeah, we're not even going to question why you're alive, and we don't care. We welcome you with open arms." Oh, that's too funny. I wonder that myself. I love that he was chief again. I think that's fitting that they accepted him back. And I love the Montauk reference as well at the end where he's like, I got a call from Montauk, which sounds like mom talk, by the way, for those of you chronically online out there. Anyway, yeah, I liked that reference quite a bit. I'm running out of drink. This is almost gone and this is almost gone. By the way, if you guys are in here, hit that like button. Helps out tremendously. Huge way to help the channel. You know what I just thought of? Hold on, man. I didn't do this. The Lego Creel House. I want it. I can't obtain it. It's like I think it's out of stock for a hot minute. So that's something that I want to acquire over the next month, if possible, even. Spencer says, 41-year-old man here cried in theaters. I think experiencing 11's trick death plus saying goodbye to the grown-up kids hits us hard in the feels. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I was like crying like a baby when the show ended. It hit me in the feels for so many reasons. Number one, I thought it was just beautiful in the moment. Like the scene itself, the characters saying goodbye to their childhood, transitioning to adulthood. But also us saying goodbye to the show that we've watched for nearly 10 years. And then just thinking about all the happy memories I have with the show. It all flooded over me and I couldn't hold it back. I had to let it out. So yeah, totally. I feel that. Man. Simply, that guy with another super chat says, I feel like they literally have to adapt / put First Shadow on Netflix with how much of Henry's backstory they didn't put in the show. I agree. It almost feels like they could just have the First Shadow play out there and then make a mini series, kind of like an 8-episode thing. Like Stranger Things, the First Shadow, the show, or Stranger Things, the First Shadow, the series. And you just make it into a television show. I think that's almost necessary at this point if they're not going to put the high-def recorded version of the stage play with the original cast on Netflix. I think you might have to take that route. But it's going to be interesting to see if anything comes of it. I think that it's been out long enough that they should be okay putting it on Netflix, unless there's a rights problem and they have to wait a certain amount of time from the original premiere to run a certain amount of Broadway shows before they can put it on Netflix. Henry Creel /1 Anakin, Vecna Darth Vader. Yeah, I kind of see it, but I don't at the same time, because I do believe that Henry was, I'm not saying he was, I just don't know if Henry Creel was ever the best around. I mean, he's clearly, even prior to being consumed, he beat the hell out of that lab worker with a rock. And that was before I know part of it's self-defense, but like he was going hard on him. You know, there was some evil in him, maybe there, something awry with him. Yeah. And also like Vecna, Darth Vader. I mean, Vecna doesn't really have any redemption in the end. Like Vader, at least in the very end, overthrows Palpatine, right? But Vecna is just fully consumed in the end. And so I kind of see it, but it would have been more apparent if in the end Vecna did have that moment where he himself overthrew the Mind Flayer somehow. Apparently the Duffers had thought about doing that. I read that on an article, so that would have been pretty cool. I'm so thirsty right now. Hold on. I might have to get another water. My mouth is so dry. I don't know why. Okay, where was I? Here I was. Hot take: Camazotz is the best plot in the show. I won't argue. I really enjoyed everything we got from Camazotz, and it's because of the Max and Holly duo. I didn't expect this season to have so many new and fresh duos, and they did it. They did the damn thing, and I was like, yeah, come on now. Like I really dug that. So that was shocking and quite, a thrill. I really loved that plot line. All of that was trippy and it felt fresh for the show. So I like that take, Zach. This here says, now that the series is over, they need to put the first shot on Netflix. I think I just answered this. I might have actually skipped around. Oh, someone actually said this already. No, I'm with you, dude. They got to put this on Netflix. I feel like you have to in order to make it accessible to everyone because it is pivotal. It's pivotal to Henry Crill's backstory. And I think that in some way, shape, or form in 2026, it'll have to be made accessible on Netflix. Whether that is they secretively filmed it and they have it ready to go, or they have a show version of it made somehow, which would be crazy. Maybe do a YouTube poll, see how everyone thinks. Also, I would help run the Discord for you fully. Yeah, I mean, I'm toying with the idea for sure. It's on the table to potentially do some sort of Discord. So it's I'm open to it. It's just I got to commit to it, Super Chat here says, think there's any more BTS or interviews coming, a final table read or round table with the kids? Thought I remember they were going to make a doc on the making of season 5. Yeah, I think all this is coming down the pipeline. I think they're going to reveal throughout this upcoming week and the following weeks and months more behind the scenes, more table read content, more, making of stuff. And I think they will do, a final documentary that probably is going to release in the summer. I bet you that will come out to coincide with 10 years of Stranger Things. In fact, they could do a documentary on the making of the show as a whole. 5 episodes, 1 per season. I'd be there. I'd be there day one. So yeah, I think they're going to do something along those lines for sure. Here's a real plot hole in the finale. Hopper not ordering the breadsticks and lasagna at Enzo's he wanted so bad. Come on, Hop. Filet specials? Valid. Now, I will say I noticed this. When they're at Enzo's, the way the waiter talks to them makes it seem like they've been going to Enzo's frequently ever since the dust settled. And they probably got all those breadsticks, that wine, the lasagna, all that stuff off screen. And this was just their millionth date at Enzo's, maybe even their last date at Enzo's. How fitting is that? Their last date at Enzo's where they get engaged and ultimately decide to move out of Hawkins. Yeah, I loved that moment. Didn't you guys? It was special. Finally getting the Enzo's date, finally getting the freaking Lumax movie. Like there were so many fan moments that hit, like moments that we have wanted to see for years. Future jobs of Stranger Things characters in like the 2000s. Good question. Real good question. I would say, I totally see. This is a tough one at the same time, though. I mean, I think Steve is like the cool health teacher forever. I think he's like a legend at Hawkins High. He's like the dude that you want in your team. Like in my high school, we had an elective called team sports. He's definitely coaching that. He's probably like a basketball coach as well. And he just doesn't care. Like he gives everyone a 100 or like a 99 and you're chilling. And he's a cool guy. So I'm saying Steve's a high school teacher at Hawkins High. He's maybe even the head basketball coach. I will go with Jonathan, probably not making it as a filmmaker, but working in the industry potentially, or he becomes some sort of, I don't know. I feel like he would be shooting music videos in the 2000s. Nancy, star reporter. And then I would say Robin, kind of just doing what she's doing, like a talk show radio host or something in the 2000s for a popular, like a throwback, like 80s, 90s now, that kind of thing. I think she could be doing that. Regarding the main kids and their jobs, I could see Mike being a best-selling author. I could see Lucas. I don't know what Lucas and Max will do for a living. I really don't. I could see them being famous. I don't know why. And then I think Gayton, or Dustin, I should say, what is he up to in the world? He's probably a professor. He's Indiana Jones. Dustin becomes Indiana Jones in the 2000s, an archaeologist, professor, and he's traversing the globe in search of ancient artifacts. Oh, and he's actually in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which came out in 2008, even though it's set in the 50s. It doesn't make any sense at all, and I don't know what I'm rambling about. Or when is that set, actually? Hold on. I think it is set in the 50s, or the 60s, damn near even. When is Dial set? I don't know. It's all a blur now. Hold on, let me fact check myself. I know that movie's set in the 50s, isn't it? When is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull set? 57, I knew it. Okay, cool. Super chat from Jake says, we saw Mr. Clark and Murray at the graduation, but wish their stories closed better, like Mr. Clark teaching Holly's class and Murray became a sensei. That's fair, but I also I've always viewed Mr. Clark. First of all, we didn't even know Mr. Clark was going to be in this season. Just seeing him back was more than enough. And him being at graduation is like, okay, we can safely assume he's still a teacher. I don't think we need to see him teaching Erica again because we already saw that. He would just go back to the normal job. And then Murray's going to be Murray. All right. Murray's kind of like the odd man. Like, I feel like he's still living on the outskirts, like being a recluse and just being Murray. You know, he's summoned, he arrives, but he's an oddball. He always has been. And so I think that we got closure enough with them, honestly, personally, at least. Well, thank you for the kind words. And I did see this in an article that the Duffers confirmed that the Duffers and Millie Bobby Brown are the only ones who know concretely Eleven's fate. I like that. I like that because it does leave a lot up to the imagination, especially us fans. And so, yeah, I'm a fan of that. I think that they'll never tell us, and I like they're going to leave it up to us. It's like the end of Inception, right? Nolan probably knows what he envisions, dream versus reality, but you, the fan, gets to decide. So I'm a fan of endings like that give us concrete answers, but also leave a lot up to the imagination as well. Do you think Sadie is Jean Grey or someone else? Great question. I think in the MCU, in Spider-Man Brand New Day, I would love to believe she's Jean Grey. I think that's the role that she could get the most out of and really sink her teeth into, and she could play that character for a decade, damn near. I think she'd crush that. I just don't know how that would fit within the context of a Spider-Man movie. Of course, there's like the Mayday Parker conversation, like of her being Kirsten Dunst's MJ and Toby's Peter's daughter. You've also got Gwen Stacy, MJ, and that's tough. I think I would love it if she was Jean Grey, but I've accepted she's probably not going to be. We know she's in one of the Avengers movies, though, so she has to be a big enough character to warrant that. Will there be season 6 / spinoffs? Why no Demobats and Upside Down? Are there more rocks like the ones Henry touched and Will wasn't affected when the Mind Flayers' demos were killed? I think there will definitely be multiple live action spinoffs. Apparently, the Duffers said that rock might actually even hint at it, which is interesting. No Demobats in the Upside Down. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We saw them in season 4. I mean, we got Demo Gorgons and Demo Dogs. I'm content. Yeah, I would have liked to see some Demobats, but it is what it is. And I do think there will be maybe another rock, like maybe it's like they're like the Lord of the Rings, where there are like different pieces of this, of whatever that is, those rocks, wherever they come from, and there are different like mind flayers. They all come from like the same place. They could really go all in on the lore, is what I'm getting at. And I've already answered the other part in this stream. Galactus fan with the super chat. Thank you. I salute you. Thank you. Hey, Chris, the amount of hate this season gets is so annoying. I'm happy there's people like you always keeping positive. What would you say our main characters would be doing now, older, in a modern 2026 timeline? Jeez. How old would they be? 40 years older than they are right now? So they'd be what? I mean, hold on. Does that mean that like Steve would be 60? Wow. Steve would be near the end of retirement as a teacher. He's the kind of guy who teaches at Hawkins High for life. You know, he doesn't leave Hawkins ever. I think that Mike, I mean, kind of what I hinted at earlier. I think a lot of these people would maintain their same occupations. Robin's probably a legendary radio broadcaster somewhere. Jonathan, I don't think ever probably made it as a filmmaker, but he tried, and maybe he's like a movie reviewer now. I don't know. Or he just does like camera work around a town. He's a photographer. Maybe that could work for him. He's a photographer for Nancy. They work together because Nancy is the lead investigator. She's a journalist, and they're back together. I think they end up together. That's kind of my headcanon, is that Jancy ends up together. They always were in love. They just needed some space, and so they get together in the end. That's where they end up. Lucas and Max grow happy and old somewhere. I don't even care where. I'm just happy they're together. Maybe Max opens a skate shop, mom and pop shop type place, and Lucas, I don't know. Yeah, something like that would work. And then Dustin, I feel like he's still playing D&D to this day, and he's damn near leading campaigns on the weekends somewhere. I feel like Dustin would open like a cool comics or collectibles shop. That could be Dustin's future. He would be someone who's trying to keep physical media alive today. That's my answer. That's a good question. That's a fun one. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I like that. Please try Netflix's One Piece. It's so good, and it helps me get into the original show, which I now consider my favorite piece of fiction ever made. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people really love One Piece. I know it's a very popular show, and Sholomere Duane, who plays Miguel Diaz in Cobra Kai, was just cast in the live action show. So for season 3, I want to say. So, I mean, it certainly piques my interest. It's something I might watch this year. It's only 8 episodes, right? I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's something that's on my list. I'll say that much. Heather says, so when was he in high school? That's the thing. The play and the show sort of contradict when Henry was in high school. And that is a problem. That is like a lore problem, to be honest with you, Heather. And I don't know if the Duffers even know the answer to this unless he was on the younger side of high school, because it's supposed to be believed that he killed his parents when he's around the age of 10 to 12. But in the play, he's, I think, 14. So there's some contradicting evidence, and it does genuinely confuse me. So it's weird. I think there's some continuity issues there. Yeah, my fiance Cam has a whole video on the timeline of the play, and she explains it there better than I just did. But there are some continuity things with the timeline of the play lining up with the timeline of what we were told in the show. So it gets a little tricky. It does. You ranked all the EPs for season 4 in 2022. Will you do it for season 5? Maybe. I might. Yeah, I might. I enjoyed doing that. I think that's a potentially a fun video to do. So it's definitely in my notes. We'll see if I get to it. There's a lot of other ones I want to do as well that I'm actually going to be making some shorts today about that. How did Henry go to high school if he was taken to the lab? Brenner wasn't, from what I gather, again, I have not seen the play. I've only read about it. I need to see it. Brenner like allowed him to still go to school. Like, he could leave the lab to start, if that makes sense, from what I gather. So it's not like he was there as a prisoner. He was allowed to go to school, to begin with, at least. It wasn't until later, I think, that he was more strictly there, like exclusively, I think. Jake says, Chris, my main problem with the first Shadow is the clear inconsistencies in the show. Henry was 12. I just touched on this when he was murdered his family, but in the play, he's 14 in high school. Yeah, I agree. I think that there are some continuity issues from the play to the show that can be confusing and are frankly inexplicable. I don't know how this happens. I don't know how they don't nail the details of things like this, and it's frustrating. But I'm with you. I think there is the only logical explanation I can think of is maybe unreliable narration from Henry Creel. And so but even then, it does get confusing. And it reminds me, I always circle back to maybe my most annoyed I've ever been with the continuity error is at the beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming. They put the wrong time jump, and they set the timeline of the film wrong completely. They're like, I think it's like 9 years later or something. They put like the wrong date up. And I'm like, that's abysmal. It doesn't line up with the Avengers at all. I love Stranger Things. I've rewatched it 4 times, but dislike 5. Interesting. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I think that means you didn't like season 5. That's what I gather. I could be misreading it. I'm sorry to hear that. This post-series depression is hitting hard. It certainly is. I have not felt this way after a show ending ever, and it genuinely has wrecked me. I will say it. It hurts. It really hurts. Jonathan/Steve moment showed us their missed potential. Yeah, I know. There's so much, like, a lot of untapped potential with them as a duo throughout the entire show. But what can you do? I feel like there was untapped potential with a lot of duos, and I bet the Duffers regret killing Eddie. I imagine if Eddie was in season 5, but then again, it wouldn't have served Dustin's arc as well with the whole grieving trauma, and then his bond being strengthened with Steve. It might not have worked as well. So fair enough. I do agree, though. Final fight should have been longer. I mean, I liked the length of it. I don't know how much longer I would have wanted it to be, because then it just could get redundant to a point. I liked that it was kind of short and to the point. It wasn't too short for me either, because there was a lot of build up to it all season, all show, frankly. I liked that it happened the way it happened. Jake with another super chat. You're killing it, man. Thank you. It says, am I the only one that'd be interested in the Terry Ives or Brenner prequel, or maybe even a young Joyce and Hopper spinoff? Feel like it'd be great. Yeah, I would say I would be the most interested in a young Joyce and Hopper spinoff, and that's kind of what I always wanted. I remember in a stream like back in 2022 or something, someone said, what spinoff do you want to see? And this was before the first Shadow, and my answer immediately was young Joyce and Hopper in high school. They hint at it in all the seasons. They talk about their days in high school. I think that would have been ideal, but I do think that's probably off the table now because of what they decided to do with the first Shadow, already tapping into those two in their high school years. And so it's kind of a bummer, right? But I do think that those characters, you know, there's so much potential for them to be portrayed young and give us more backstory, even on Bob Newby. But I feel like they're never going to do it because of the play. So it's kind of a bummer, but that's the one I really wanted to see. I'd be down for any sort of young Brenner prequel, though. I don't know if they want to do it. It seems like they're more interested in telling stories set within the same world of Stranger Things, just in different cities with different characters. But if they ever want to do some sort of official prequel, I'm here for it. Josh with the super chat. Thank you, Josh. Says, I heard the Duffers say that Lumax movie was I heard the Duffers say that the Lumax movie was Ghost. Very good movie and very fitting, even given everything they went through. Interesting. Okay, that's the movie with Swayze, right? Excuse me. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that they had actually said what movie they were watching, but that is kind of fitting, honestly. You're right. I've never actually seen that movie, but I know of it. Trust me. That's cool. That's cool. Waffle Animation says, was the Mind Flayer finale form its true form? Why would it create a form of itself where it can be harmed, but the shadow cannot be harmed and is immortal? I think that the form of it in the Abyss was definitely its true form. I think that the shadow form, because it's a projection of itself, that's probably why it couldn't be harmed, because in a sense it's doing it's like projecting into the, like, you know what I mean? It's not its physical form. That's kind of how I view it, at least. But yeah, that's an interesting point. Who paid Max's medical bills? LOL, the Sinclairs. I mean, her mom definitely paid them, I would say, but we never see her. The Sinclairs definitely could have gotten involved. Again, the questions that no one really needs answers to. Joshua, I mean, actually, I feel like that's a good point, but who knows? I was thinking the Sinclairs definitely probably helped out in the end, right? You have to think. Joshua says, should have had an IMAX 3D release. Wow. I mean, if they did an IMAX release for Stranger Things, that would have been sick. I would have probably tried to go, but if they did an IMAX or a 3D thing, they would have had to expand it. It couldn't have just been 1 or 2 nights. They would have had to do a full week. Max is 100% a high school guidance counselor. It's literally too perfect, and Lucas becomes a successful scientist of some kind along with Dustin. I'm here for the OG party becoming scientists and also running like a comic shop that sells Funko Pops. I think they would definitely be into collecting those. So I'm kind of down with this, honestly. That's pretty sick. Let's do a speed round real quick. River Phoenix is the GOAT. I agree. Really gone too soon. Rest in peace. Chris, I'm going to start acting soon. I wish you the best with that journey. Hope it goes well for you. Hello, Douglas. How you doing? I hope the first Shadow comes to Netflix. Go to C2E2. Which one is that? Which con is that? Is that in Chicago? I'm always looking to go to new conventions. I think that's Chicago's, right? C2E2. Friends don't lie. You got that right. JNT's Endgame, it's kind of what I believe as well. Favorite finale? I loved the season 5 finale. It truly is one of my favorite episodes of the whole entire show, honestly. I may watch Super 8 soon. A loyal subscriber comments every time. I think and on Letterboxd, I want to say it's Achilles. I could be wrong, but every stream I see, they want me to watch Super 8. And I think I might actually check it out soon because I am in a coming of age mood. And I know that J.J. Abrams directed, Spielberg produced. It might be one that I check out soon, honestly. Apparently, and yeah, I've heard Welcome to Derry is fantastic, but I'm hesitant. I'm still hesitant. I am going to check it out at some point, though. Starcourt says Twitter is a cesspool. It's been that, but this year it got really bad. A new movie or show becomes the monthly punching bag all year. Yeah, you're not wrong, dude. Every single thing that comes out, it's exhausting, honestly. That's why I'm just not interested in consuming a bunch of the Twitter stuff. What about Argyle? Argyle was a season 4 character who lived in California, and he was like a friend of Jonathan, but that's really it. I don't think the show really needed to show him again. Just like how we didn't need to see Dimitri or Yuri again. Like they did their job, and we got, they served their purpose for that season, but they're never really one of the main characters or anything. Justice for Powell and Callahan, yeah, they were schmucks though. I think we can all agree they really kind of sucked at their job. And so I hope Hopper fired them, honestly, and was like, you know what? These guys don't need to be in our show anymore. They don't need to be in Hawkins. Good riddance. Like it's Bully Maguire. All right, let's see. I have seen Breaking Bad. It's one of my favorites. I was rewatching it before. I rewatched seasons 1 through 3 in like August to September, and then I put my rewatch on halt. What do you think about the whole conformity gate thing? So yeah, it's come up a bunch in the stream. Honestly, I told you guys, I'm kind of out of the loop on it. Like, honestly, I'm not really up to date on it. It seems like people think there's going to be a surprise episode for some reason. It's kind of confusing me. Would you consider doing a video about why Elle is or isn't alive? I certainly could look into it. Yeah, like a long form video might be on the table. Team Stancy, that's never going to happen. But they are friends, and that's really kind of an important takeaway for them. Montauk starring Hopper. Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. I'm there day one. All right, we got some super chats here still piling in. Thank you guys for those. Again, I answered this one, I'm pretty sure. What's a good Steve quote for a tattoo, or should I just get Derek giving the middle finger? Just do that. Suck my fat one. Just do that. Just Derek. Honestly, your entire back is just Derek Turnbow. And just suck my fat one. And no one knows. And it's just Derek Turnbow. No Stranger Things logo, just that. No, a good Steve quote, probably always The Babysitter is like one of the iconic ones, I'd say. You Die, I Die with him and Dustin would be fun. Waffle Animation says the only thing I disliked about the finale is how many things they left up to the audience. What is your opinion on this? I like how there's some ambiguity, notably with Eleven's fate. I think that's beautiful. I don't think they left a ton up to the audience because we see the kids play D&D one final time. They all acknowledge that they believe 11 is out there, so that ties up that. Joyce and Hopper are getting married. The Steve, Robin, Nancy, Jonathan all have careers, and they're back at Hawkins, and they want to make an effort to get together. We don't see Susie. Susie is not a main character of the show. She was barely in the show, and that's fine. We don't need to see her again. We weren't supposed to. She wasn't in season 5 leading up to it, whereas she was in the season 1 premiere, and then she showed up later. Vicky and Robin, again, not like a do or die type thing. And then Dr. Owens was not in this season. Like, of course, I wanted to see him, but he wasn't. So I don't think they left a ton up in the air. I think they closed the show off pretty well, in my opinion, honestly. I would love Jamie Kimmelbauer as an MCU Eddie Brock or Harry Osborn. Oh, he would be a good villain in the MCU. I think he may be better suited as a DC villain. I think he could do a Batman villain really well. I mean, it's so basic to say he could be a Joker, but he could do that. He could do a Scarecrow really well. He could even do, he could do Two-Face. Like, he could do any of those roles, in my opinion. So I think he might be better suited as a DC villain because of his darker performances, personally. I think that would fit in line with DC. And I'm thinking Gotham City mainly. I think he could crush that. MCU X-Men. You got Sadie as Jean Grey, Caleb as Cyclops, Millie as Rogue, Finn as Gambit, Gaten as Beast, Noah as Iceman. I feel a good amount of them will end up in the MCU like Game of Thrones cast. You make a compelling point. You had Robb Stark, Jon Snow, Daenerys, They were, oh yeah, technically the Stark sisters were in X-Men projects. I just realized Charlie Heaton was in that damn New Mutants movie, that god awful movie. I forget about that, honestly. Of those, I think Sadie as Jean would be great. I think Gaten as Beast would be really fun. I could see that. Yeah. The others, I mean, not as convinced on, but those two I definitely can see. Does anyone remember that actor for Lonnie was at the season 4 table read? I wonder what happened with that. Never saw him again. Just thought, yeah, I'm glad we never saw Lonnie again. For a second, I was like, are we going to see him at graduation? Thank God we didn't. Lonnie's a scumbag. Lonnie is an absent father. He was basically abusive to Jonathan and Will and awful to Joyce. And all he cared about was money in the end. He's a scumbag. I never wanted to see him again. Good riddance to Lonnie. Good riddance. I'm glad we didn't see him again. But that is a good point. Like, was there ever an intention of bringing him back? I feel like if he were going to be in season 4, it would involve some sort of trauma with one of the buyers. Super Chat here says, also the parties still get together at least a few times a month / year for D&D well into their late 50s. I saw in a vision. I hope so. I hope they get together annually and they have a little D&D get together where they reminisce and they, update and they have a group chat, hopefully, at this point in time in 2026. Thoughts on the Duffers comparing Elle to E.T. and in the way she's a supernatural change agent who comes in, helps kids grow up and disappears. I totally see it. I mean, even when I was looking back at season 1 recently for my season rankings, it's so E.T. inspired, right? Spielberg is very clearly an influence on Stranger Things, and they don't even make an attempt to hide that. They acknowledge that. It's a love letter to that era in many ways. And so I totally see this. I've always viewed season 1 as like an E.T. homage, and that lived on through the very end of the show, it seems. Do I think Eleven will ever try to find Mike? I don't, because she has to stay hidden. If she is alive, if you believe she's alive, she has to stay hidden. And that's the tragedy of it all, because she knows the risk. If she tries to find her friends, there's a chance that, a government entity could find her and try and use her to create more kids, more experiments. And so she knows she has to stay hidden, but it sucks, but it's kind of beautiful and poetic in a weird way. I'm glad Dustin didn't switch up when Stacy, yes, I agree. I'm glad he didn't switch up and go to that party with Stacy, because she rejected him all those years ago. And it was cool to see her one final time, but I'm glad they were like, no, I got a better idea. And they go play D&D instead. But there were some cool little moments like that, seeing old characters show up again. Where was Keith? Everyone's talking about where's Dr. Owens? Where's Argyle? Where was Keith? Thoughts on Stonathan? Stonathan Nation. No. I think it's silly, but it's just kind of funny that how many ships there are. Like, I do think they have charming moments together for sure, but there's always people that ride or die for ships out there everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, Steady was a big one too. Steve and Eddie. I wish the finale was 3 hours long. I would watch a 20-hour long finale, so I'm not going to disagree. Would it have made sense if Nancy joined the military? I loved the line where Robin was like, "You going to be a Navy SEAL?" Because she's badass and she totally could. No, I think that she probably wouldn't, but she is a badass, journalist who you don't want to cross, right? You don't want to mess with her because she's all about self-defense. Let's just say that much. And the super chat here says, is there any character you wanted to die in season 5? Through the seasons, I've wanted the Duffers to have guts. Did you see how many people were in the finale? Yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't kill a ton of main characters, but that's never what the show's been about. They could have killed Murray, if anyone, because he didn't have some grand finale. Like, they could have killed him and then Hopper could have just set the bombs and that would have been that. But I don't know how much that really would have changed. So no, I don't think there's anyone I wanted to see die, because in the end, you had to have the OG party together. They're kids. They are all kids. You don't want to see these kids die. The adults, I mean, they got us with Hopper. They made us feel like he was dead. 11, you can believe is dead. So they killed people, Eddie, Bob, but killing these kids, even Steve and them, they're all just kids at the end of the day. I feel like they all deserve to go on and live happy lives and be able to tell these stories. So I'm not really mad about it. No. Jake here says, where was Powell and Callahan, man? The cops. I'm glad those schmucks weren't around. I mean, they sucked at their job. Can we all acknowledge that? Especially in season 4, they're idiots. And I think Hopper even knows they're idiots. They probably got fired, and I feel like the military presence sort of took over the police presence in Hawkins. But at a certain point when Hopper's back, I think those idiots are just out of there. Hopper's like, you guys suck. That's kind of what I'm thinking, at least. Apparently there's another episode on the 7th. I wouldn't believe that, because I just don't think that's real. The season's over. My name is Chris, for those wondering. Yes. I thought Nell Fisher was great. Holly sort of captured that magic of the season one kids, you know. It felt like a callback to that, in my opinion. Why do people want characters to die so badly? I don't know, honestly. Like I went in expecting a bunch of the characters in Guardians 3 to die, and none of them did, and I was totally content with where we landed the plane emotionally. I think some people just might have wanted a bloodbath. The lyrics to Heroes are perfect. I agree. They'll bring you to tears, really. The David Bowie version is, I mean, both versions are great, but the David Bowie one especially is awesome. Change is nature. That's the Ratatouille quote. And it's true. It's true. Spin-off Dr. K? Oh, come on. No one would want to see that, right? A Dr. K spin-off. Good old Dr. K. Mr. Clark. Someone said we should get a Mr. Clark and Murray spin-off. That would be something. Who would you kill off to save Steve Harrington? Murray. I would have been totally fine if Murray died. I thought he was going to heading into the season, to be honest with you guys. I had convinced myself he was dead. And multiple times in the finale, I was like, here we go. Murray's dead. Here we go. It's Murray. And I just, and he never died. Sadie could be Firestar in Spider-Man. There's so many possibilities for who she could be playing. Yes. Shout out Jay Hayes modding in the chat. Hit that like button. Helps out a bunch. Be sure to do it. Do it. To quote Palpatine. I finally finished the finale. Whew. Yeah, a little late to the party. I know that everyone, I mean, the Stranger Things accounts are already posting spoilers everywhere. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you didn't get spoiled for too much. Let's see. I'm looking through the chat here. All right. So we got some super chats coming in. This one right here. That Derek tattoo, it would be fire. If you get that, I feel like you have to post that on Instagram and tag the cast in order for them to see the Derek back tattoo. Thank you for the super chat here. It says, I'm curious. What I'm curious about is, were there any consequences with the military? I mean, both Nancy and Hopper shot multiple soldiers. Murray blew up a helicopter. They were hiding a wanted person, etc. I'm sure that it all just kind of blew over in the end. They knew there would be casualties. I mean, I'm thinking of in Hawkins' lab, right? When that explosion happens and then those characters get shot, everyone left the Upside Down. So like Dr. K and them left the Upside Down. All they cared about, I don't know how to make this clear. All they cared about was 11. All they cared about was 11. In the end, 11 dies. They're like, okay, we can leave. They don't care about these soldiers. They don't care about their own. That's kind of the point, is like, they don't care about their people. They just care about one thing. It's 11. It's getting her blood so they can create more beings, powered beings. And that's all they cared about. And so they aren't worried about that. How were they even to know the helicopter blew up? I mean, in the end, do they really care? No, they just wanted 11 and she's gone. And so they're like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. Madeline Klein should have made a cameo, and Chase Stokes. That would have been funny if they both showed up at the graduation together and you were like, wait a second. Oh yeah, they're in the show, but is this an Outer Banks reference somehow? Are we breaking timelines here? Because it doesn't take place in the 80s. Outer Banks doesn't. Thoughts on L's leaving being similar to Frodo's? Yeah, definitely some Lord of the Rings parallels in general. I feel like they gave everyone their flowers at the end, which I was a fan of. I can certainly see that. Yeah, I really liked 11's ending. It was beautiful to me because at the end of Lord of the Rings, spoilers, like it's got a beautiful ending where he kind of rides off on this boat, literally rides off into the sunset to like a better place, basically into like heaven, if you want to view it that way. You can kind of look at it that way for Elle in a sense too. Finally finding peace and settling down. Super chat here says, one criticism that I keep going back to is that LMAX reunion was very underwhelming and they didn't get a chance to reconnect. Thoughts? I mean, there were bigger fish to fry. I love that friendship. Trust me, I really do. I just think that the reunion we all needed was Lumax, and we got it, and that's the one that took precedence over the others. And fair, and you know, and honestly, I think that it's important that they nailed Lucas and Max, and they did. I still think we got some good L Max moments in the season, but it was all about Lumax, in my opinion. Brenner and Dr. K had such similar hair. Were they related? I think that you can maybe interpret that they had worked together in the past. I was obviously theorizing that they were somehow tied together by family, but I don't know. It's kind of the fun of it all. Where did Owens go? I think he's held up as a prisoner. The government literally made him disappear. Lumax forever. I agree. There's not going to be a 9th episode, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's only 8 episodes. The show is over. I love it to death, but there's not going to be a 9th episode. Do you watch Dexter? I've never seen Dexter, but it's been recommended to me a lot. People say I would love it, but the reason I haven't watched Dexter is because I've heard that it really falls off a cliff at a certain point. And so I don't want to get invested in the show just to be disappointed when I know there are other shows out there that I could spend time watching. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Squid Game USA, I'm hyped. I'm with you. I'm looking forward to that, especially if Fincher is involved, as they say he is. I feel like the Derek tattoo would just be wild anywhere. If Dustin never found out about Brenner's notebook, it would have probably been a good idea to keep Brenner alive to tell the truth about the Upside Down. Well, now we're playing the what if game, right? I mean, I think they had to kill Brenner. I think they had to kill Brenner because of what he did. I mean, he was directly responsible for kind of ruining many, many lives, and he was very manipulative, especially to 11. He had to pay the price, the ultimate price, for those experiments and what he did for all those years and how many lives he damaged. So I think he had to die, in my opinion. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Brenner's death. But Dustin did find the notebook, and so a lot of that information was relayed to him, and that's how they wrote the show. So I mean, if like Brenner was killed in season 4, so they could write whatever they wanted at that point. You know what I mean? Been watching you since 2022 during season 4. Well, thank you. It's been almost 4 years now. I love how I can say that. It's been like 3 days of 2026. It's technically closer to 3.5 years, but no, I think it is. It's pretty close to 4 years since season 4 came out. That was May of 2022. I can't believe we're so close to 2030. That scares me greatly. I'm not going to lie. That scares me. Man, really, really scary, actually. But thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. Jake with yet another super chat says, just want to acknowledge this. End of Beginning has been the #1 song on Spotify charts for 5 days now, surpassing Taylor Swift. Crazy, man. The power of that song, man. That song would not be where to say if it weren't for TikTok. Isn't that crazy? Like, I love that song. I remember listening to that album. And then it obviously popped off on social media. I think it was last year, maybe in the year before. End of Beginning is huge, and it became so trendy on TikTok. Like, the power of social media for music, it should be studied. Like, it's really impressive. But of course, this is the song by Joe. It's great. Yeah, great song. Great song. That is nuts, though. Because I do think that it kind of cycles through phases of being trendy on TikTok. It's probably through one right now because it's like the start of a new year, and so people are listening to that song more. The storyteller keeps telling stories, but the storyteller keeps telling stories. One of the best lines in the whole series, but there is one story gave me goosebumps. Yeah. I loved the final Mike speech. I thought that it was so well written. I couldn't have thought of a better ending for the OG party. I thought they nailed it personally. Goated performance by Jonathan in the finale. Yeah, Jonathan, the character, I mean, he comes in, saves the day with a flamethrower. He saves Steve. He really is kind of stepping up in a big way. I also think Charlie Heaton crushes it as well. Jonathan has multiple moments where like, all right, Jonathan, I see you, especially when he pulls up with the flamethrower, but he also saves Steve's life. Think about that. Alex with the super chat says, I wish Holly also had a moment of trying to redeem Henry in the cave. It would have been fitting since she felt sorry for young Henry in Up 6. Her attacking him was tough and all, but not my ideal route. Interesting. Yeah. I honestly, when I think of Holly, I kind of wish we got a little more of her in the epilogue, but even then, it was never her show. She was one of the main characters of this season, but it was never about her. And so maybe I wish we saw her and Max in the epilogue, but like that's such a what if thing. I think we got the closure we needed with them in the moment. And it's like Max and Holly were never like best friends. They were just in a situation and had to get out together, you know? So, but yeah, I kind of feel you. That would have been cool to see maybe Holly, but who knows? I liked her attacking as well. Jake says, honestly wish in the finale and the Mind Flayer and Vecna just turned Will full evil and all three had a showdown against Elle. I really wanted the evil Will. I wouldn't have liked that. I think that there's beauty to the fact that Will and Henry are both have the potential to be corrupted by this evil. And on the one hand, Henry allows it to consume him, becoming Vecna, while Will, on the other hand, fights it. And he fights the good fight. He's the hero. I thought that there was a beautiful like cinematic parallel there where this is like the battle of good versus evil, and Will is the good represented. I think it would have been too dark if they made Will evil because of all the stuff he's been through. It would have left a sour taste in my mouth for him to end the show on an evil note. I don't know if I would have cared for that personally, but it's an interesting take. I just don't think I would dig it. The Banker Bros, thank you for the super chat, says, what was your reaction to Steve almost dying? Well, you can see it on the channel. I was shocked, but because of how early in the episode it was, I was like, no. I like sat up like Darth Vader screaming no at the end of Revenge of the Sith. It really was jarring for me, but obviously he is alive, thankfully. But that did get to me. That did get to me. Grogu the Great with a super chat says, what do you think about the Duffers' controversial / unsatisfying answers about season 5 plot holes? I don't even know what this is referring to be honest with you. Is there controversy around them answering questions? Yeah, I mean, I don't go on Twitter much post the finale. I think that it's kind of like my buddy Jacob said earlier in the stream, it's kind of just a cesspool, like people dwelling on this minutia for some reason. But I don't know. I think maybe people are upset that they said they don't know why it was 12 kids. Is that why people are upset? They said we just chose 12, and people were like, there should have been a reason why there were 12 kids. I mean, okay, I don't know. Sure, I guess, but is that the controversy that I'm seeing? I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that people are coming at them. I said it earlier. I think there's just a lot of very phony rage online about this whole thing, in my opinion. Joshua the super chat says, my theater was packed. Young girls were crying and cheering. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I heard that. I've seen reactions from theaters of people going nuts. So I believe it. I totally believe it. I mean, the hype was real for that finale. Do I think Elle is alive or dead? I think Elle lives. When I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. There you go. Sing it. How many Oscars or Emmys do you think Stranger Things might win? Well, it would just get Emmys because it's TV. I don't think it'll win much. Maybe some technical stuff. A lot of popular shows get nominated for their first couple seasons, and then the awards bodies kind of get sick of them. So Stranger Things season 1 and 2 got nominated for things, but then kind of faded with each new season. And that's the case with a lot of other popular shows as well. Or movies for that matter. Top 5 duos in the show, excluding ships. We'll go in no order. Steve and Robin, Steve and Dustin, Eddie and Dustin, Max and Elle are great. And then I'll shout out Nancy and Robin. What happened to all the pregnant women? I hate to say it, but not good things, I'd imagine. And I don't think Dr. Care, the military cared. It's safe to assume that they were getting sick and not getting any better, which is very dark, but goes to show how cruel and messed up Dr. K is. And also kind of backs up the point of the fact that they don't care that their own soldiers were dying in the Upside Down because all they cared about was 11. Oh, we lost some soldiers. Don't care. They're not like some morally good soldiers. Like they're awful and evil, and they just want to exploit these Eleven and these others to use them for their blood. Like, they don't care about anything but that and power, really. Oh, Jamie Kimmel Bauer was outstanding. Outstanding. By the way, it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes on stream. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to go, but it's been one hell of a stream. I mean, the time flew. It's not a weeknight, so I guess I just didn't realize, but it's been a long stream. It's been a fun one, guys. Thank you for hanging out in here if you were in here live. Mr. Clark, yeah, it would have been cool to see a little more of him, but also he's not one of the OGs. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well, 12 because of a clock. That's also what my thought process was, but if the Duffers didn't answer that concretely, then who knows? It'd be cool to see more of Dustin and Steve, but I doubt we're ever going to see them. Will and Robin were a great new duo. Murray and Hopper as well. Fun. How about Max and Holly as well? Great duo also. I've looked through the scripts. I haven't read the I got a book recently, the Nancy Robin book. I haven't read that one. I want to. Favorite part of the finale was probably, I mean, really the final scene just really hit me. And the credits as well. Oh, it's so awesome. It's awesome stuff. Favorite Joe song? Great question. Whew, there's a couple. It depends on my mood. If I'm in a certain mood, Egg is my favorite. Change is probably one of my favorites. Those two come to mind immediately. I'd say one of those as of right now. Right Side Up's in contention. Massacre at Hawkins Lab's in contention. Dear Billy's in contention. Favorite song from the series? I mean, it's so... the fact that they use Heroes 3 times, Peter Gabriel twice, Dave Bowie once, that song is like... I think the Duffers even said an anthem for the show. I kind of lean that right now. I think they crushed it. But Separate Ways and the Running Up That Hill remix, come on now. Joshua with the Super Chat says, do you think Netflix and other streaming services should release their series finale episodes in theaters? Yeah, I do. I think that they could have, but at the same time, Stranger Things is an anomaly. I think other streaming service shows could have, like Game of Thrones season 8 could have released in theaters. I'm trying to think of like a show, but it has to be like a huge show, like truly, truly huge. I don't think I like Wednesday quite a bit. I don't think Wednesday in theaters would hit as much as like a Stranger Things. I think a finale of a huge show would work in theaters, but I got to think of some examples. Like maybe like something that would have hit in theaters, for example, is like the Mandalorian season 2 finale where Luke Skywalker shows up. That would have been great in the theater. The Stranger Things finale, obviously in a theater. Some of the Marvel stuff, like I would have watched the Loki season 2 finale in a theater, but just for the sound and visual. It's nothing to do with like I don't need I like, it's cool when I go see a big movie and people are like into it in the crowd, but I don't need that. Like I think in terms of watching the Stranger Things like on the biggest screen possible with the best sound, yeah, that's why the theater's cool, but I don't think I don't let like the crowd sway me one way or the other. Like I'm going to have my opinion at the end of the day. Duffer Brothers said that there's 3 spinoffs: Tales from 85, the one in progress, and one they cannot talk about apparently. Thoughts? Also, last super chat, LOL. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you for all the super chats, man. I really do appreciate it. Tales from 85, I think, is coming out this year. One in progress. I hope we get officially announced what it is this year. And I did hear there's one they can't talk about. What is that? My thought is it might have to do with the play, and it is like First Shadow related and maybe a mini series, and they can't talk about it contractually because like because of certain dates that they have to get to in terms of how long the First Shadow's been on Broadway. But I'm interested to see what the result of all that is, because they definitely are cooking something up behind the scenes, and it's a little suspicious. So I don't think they're ever going to go back to the world of Hawkins. I think they're going to be in the world of Stranger Things, but not in Hawkins. So I'm fascinated. I am fascinated to see what is next. That's what I will say about that. I hope that it involves, I hope it's prequel based. I think if you want to have a successful spinoff, a lot of times prequels work. I think Better Call Saul. I think House of the Dragon, for better or worse, it's a prequel and it is getting people to watch. So I think prequels can only strengthen the original source material. Joshua with the super chat says, "Hi, Chris. Just want to say following you has been a great ride and your content has meant a lot to me. Thank you so much. Long may it continue." Well, hey, thank you, Josh. I ain't going nowhere. I will be continuing to make videos for forever. I mean, I will talk Stranger Things, but also tons of other movies and shows in 2026 and beyond. So all sorts of content coming to the channel. And I hope you guys stick around for all of it. We'll go for a little bit longer, probably a couple more minutes here. So, I just knocked my water out. Good thing it was empty. Yeah, it was empty. Cool. I knocked the can and the bottle over, but they're both empty. Good thing they are, because the cap was off and that would have been bad. That would have been bad. Anyway, what am I planning on watching next? I want to watch It Welcome to Derry. You guys have really sold me on it. So I think I'm going to do a reaction series here on YouTube to that. Yes, content creation is my full-time job. It would not be possible without your guys' support. So thank you. I greatly appreciate it. It has been for a while now, honestly. I don't talk about it much, but yes, it is my full-time job. Do you see the parallels between Egg and Will? I kind of do. I saw an edit to multiple different characters with this song, to be honest with you. It's I saw one to Steve, obviously, because Joe Keery. I don't think I've seen one to Will, but that would be sick. That would be sick, honestly. Anytime I see an edit, a Stranger Things edit on TikTok to Hamilton, which there are a lot of right now, to Joe, there are some One Direction ones going around. Like, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to watch this thing. What would you recommend to a heartbroken person after the last show, the best show of all time, ended to cope? Asking for a friend. Honestly, I will say watching what inspired the show is probably not a bad idea, because you get to see what made the Duffers fall in love with storytelling. So I would definitely say, I just rewatched it last night and I recommend it. Stand By Me. I just rewatched it yesterday because I wanted to get that coming of age feel, and it satisfied that. E.T., right? I would say go rewatch E.T. I would say in terms of shows, that's where it's a little harder to answer definitively, but those two movies, I think there's a clear inspiration. I mean, you could totally just rewatch the show too and live it all again. I think that would satisfy your heart as well. Will you watch the WWE and Stranger Things collab episode tomorrow? I don't think so. I didn't know that was really happening, to be honest with you. Kid scores my notifications on my phone. Chloe, that sounds like a great idea, because every time your phone lights up, you get to have the thrill of hearing that music. Stranger Things is much better than Wednesday. I agree. I enjoy Wednesday a lot, but I do prefer Stranger Things. Leanna says, do you agree with the volume releases? I don't. I've always been a binge model kind of guy, where I prefer, sorry, I just knocked my desk. I prefer being able to watch at my own pace whenever I want. I get why they did the volumes, because it is such a huge show. They wanted to spread it out and have it, coincide with holidays. But I wish that I could have watched it all at once. That's what we did for season 1, season 2, and season 3. And frankly, most of season 4. I also think if they dropped it all at once, people wouldn't have as many issues. Like, oftentimes you'll hear people online say, we need weekly releases again. Weekly releases is harmful in today's society, because people don't have patience, and it allows people to stew on one little detail of an episode and run wild with it and let it almost poison their overall experience of a show. Like, there was about a 4 or 5 day gap between The Bridge and maybe a 6 day gap, actually, between The Bridge and The Right Side Up, where people online were just stirring the pot of negativity and dwelling on things. And that probably directly influenced their experience with the finale. Whereas if they were able to watch them consecutively, people would probably be like, yeah, hell yeah. They probably would like it even more. So I've always preferred the binge model. Bridgerton is huge. Might that do well in theaters? Potentially. Okay. I do watch Daredevil. Yeah. Born Again. I enjoyed. I liked it quite a bit. I did a review here on the channel actually, but I don't react to Born Again. Have you seen Desperate Housewives? I have not. Is this last live? No, I will be live. I do live streams every week. This is the last live stream about Stranger Things season 5 exclusively, where I'm talking like spoilers. So no, I will be live pretty much weekly every day, every week this year. I'll try and do a live stream. It just won't be like, it won't be where Stranger Things is in the title. It'll just be called live Q&A/hangout. We can talk about Stranger Things if it comes up. Obviously, talk about the spin-off, everything. But like, it'll be, you guys can ask about anything, food, life, theme parks. But it won't be like specifically Stranger Things oriented, if that makes sense. It'll just be called live Q&A/hangout. We have a couple more super chats coming in here. Spinoff, or this one says, Duffer said one of the spinoffs is about the rock in the cave. I think I heard that, and how that rock in the cave is gonna play into it. I think that definitely means we could see a world where there are like different rocks that come from the same place, and they maybe like someone else gets corrupted by this evil force or something. It could be along those lines in a sense. Can the Mind Flayer still contact Will? I think that connection's finally been broken, as the Mind Flayer is no mas. I think they could surprise fans and make another season. Netflix would make huge money. They would be down, and there's still more story to tell. I definitely think it would make money. That's not out of the question. It's just, would they want to continue the story and ruin the ending potentially? I think they ended it on such a perfect note, right? On their terms. The Duffers like spent so much time and effort devoted to this, and now they want to go tell other stories, right? They're not with Netflix anymore. They're with Paramount. They're going to want to make movies. So I think that everyone's kind of at a place where they're ready to close that chapter and move on to the next phase of life. And I think that we should just be happy with what we got. I have never seen Dark. Future of the channel is talking movies and shows, as I always have. Lots of Stranger Things, Tales from 85, but like Outer Banks I'll cover a ton of. I'll probably talk The Boys, a lot of build up to the upcoming Marvel films and movies in general. Basically also reacting to old shows, new shows, movie talk, all of it. Erica's spinoff would be fun if she was like leading Hellfire Club, but I don't know if there's enough meat on the bone there. But hey, you never know. Well, I'm probably going to be checking it out soon, so I'll let you guys know what I think, as I plan to probably watch it here on the channel. Imagine a Stranger Things theme park. That would be special. That would be special. Do you do theme park reviews too? I've thought of what Stranger Things rides they could make. What kind of Stranger Things ride do you think they could or would make? I really want a Stranger Things theme park one day. I don't know if they'll ever make it happen. You know, I want it though. I want it. I think that a ride that would really rule would probably involve going into the Upside Down. Like you start in outside, you go into the Upside Down on a little quest, you encounter demos, I think they could do like a hybrid with a water ride as well, where like you're in the dark, like in the void or something. Like that would be really sick. I don't know exactly what it would entail. I think they could do some sort of exhibit with Starcourt Mall. Palace Arcade would have to be there. Surfer Boy Pizza, Scoops Ahoy ice cream, all that stuff. Maybe Enzo's for like the fine dining at the theme park. And then the main attraction could definitely be some sort of thrill ride where you're like, you know, it's like the Mind Flayer is over top of the ride or something like that. That would be sick. There's just a lot of potential. And I hope they realize that. I hope they do things with Netflix theme parks. That's my hope, at least. Even though Stranger Things ended, do you still plan to continue talking about it? Not only but future Stranger Things theory videos, but live streams such as this as well. Yeah, so my channel, I've always talked movies and shows. Stranger Things was a huge part of the channel leading up to season 5. But I will continue to do live streams weekly. It won't be called like Stranger Things season 5 live stream, but it'll just be called live Q&A/hangout, where we can talk about Stranger Things as much as we want. We talk about whatever you guys bring up in the chat. And I will always talk about the show, but yeah, I talk about tons of movies as well and shows. It's been a lot more Stranger Things oriented as we lead up to season 5, because I mean, it's the talk of the town. We all love the show. I was excited about it. You guys excited about it. But yeah, Outer Banks season 5 is going to be big. I'm really looking forward to some of the big time movie releases this year as well. So there's going to be tons to discuss this year for sure. Was the finale better than The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones? Way better than Game of Thrones. I haven't seen The Walking Dead finale, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, it's not even in the same league as the Game of Thrones finale. Corey says, sent you a DM. Hey, buddy. My cat just came in here. Hey, bud. Sent you a DM on IG. Have an idea when to buy it. I'll check it out. Who's your favorite character? Hopper and Steve Supremacy. I think the Stranger Things spinoffs will always be on Netflix, but the Duffers have it in their contracts that they can still be involved. That's kind of what I gather. Top 5 EPs, I'm actually ranking them this week, believe it or not. But I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. It's been 2 hours, 34 minutes. I could go on for hours, but I think that's a good stopping point personally. So we did it. 2.5 hours in the books. Talking Stranger Things season 5 finale. Spoilers. Thank you guys so much. If you were in here live, if you were here on the replay, hit that like button. It helps out a lot. I'm still going to be going live a ton. It'll just be called live Q&A/hangout. So please consider joining those and sticking around and following along. And yeah, I will cover Stranger Things, Tales from 85. I have tons of Stranger Things videos coming out, like final videos, ranking videos. So stay tuned for all those. Some anticipated movie and show rankings as well. So lots of content coming in January that I'm really excited about. I'm probably going to be reacting to shows as well more this year. So lots to be on the lookout for. But that is going to do it for this finale Spoiler Talk live stream. Thank you guys, as always, for joining. And I'll see you in the next stream video short. I got a couple of shorts coming out today, so stay tuned for that. And much love to all you. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.